on to what we love. Risk the fall, or we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of the world that we defy. A solo ride of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light. Oh.
Welcome, everybody. The lower bracket finals for the CBLOL Cup are here. I am 4x4. That is Roodood. This is Red Canids versus Furia. This is the final that we all thought we were going to get when this whole thing kicked off, but Loud, they are doing Loud things, so they await in the upper bracket, but all three of these teams are at minimum qualified for America's Cup, as you can see right there. Loud have a chance with one best of 5 to go to first stand. Meanwhile, Red and Furia, this should be, Roodood, a knockout drag down series. This should be really, really fun because I think we both agree. Look, Loud, they could do it. Shoot, they could win the whole thing. I wouldn't be like, I would be surprised. I wouldn't be stunned by anything at this point. But both these teams coming into this one with a ceiling as high as anybody.
Exactly. And you're quite right that, Loud, they could easily take this tournament home and it wouldn't surprise us. Hell, maybe they're even the favorites after they took Red down in the other upper bracket, but it feels like we're going to get a better series today than we will do tomorrow, which is a little bit saddening, but we're hoping to be proved wrong as ever when we make these statements or declarations that we hope that we're wrong, and we hope that actually we're going to get a banger today, a banger tomorrow, and everything will be just gravy. A likelihood of that happening, who knows? All we know is we've got Red versus Furia today, and these two teams have shown us lots and lots of good stuff in the past. Furia are on a very good hot streak at the minute. They took out Leviathan. Nobody really expected them not to. And they took out Los last weekend as well, which maybe was a little bit more of a close run thing, or people expected it to be closer.
Bit of a banana skin game, if you will.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like you said, they got over the hump. Los Grandes kind of a bit exposed, if you're asking me, in best of 5. But, look, this team still has a solid foundation to build on. I think them versus Cade for kind of that last top 4 spot next split will be really interesting. Cade making some roster moves potentially, which is also very interesting, but we're not here to talk about that, unfortunately. But it is really spicy if you want to just check all that out. But the CBLOL, it never disappoints. I feel like we've gotten more drama in one split that isn't a split of the CBLOL this year so far than we did in all of 2025. The CBLOL is so back.
Yeah, and that's what we need, right? When the LTA South was the thing, we were just kind of like, whatever, we'll do the done thing and we'll play our League of Legends. CBLOL comes back. Now it's when we get, carnage, chaos, everything in between.
Yeah. So let's get those rosters on the screen for you real quick. Let's talk Red Canids first, Roodood. They are the ones that suffered a bit of a shocker, not a shocker, but an upset against Loud, FNB, Curse, Kaze, Rebello, Dusty, and not 4x4 and Roodood. Otherwise, this would go marginally worse. There you go. Exactly.
Go much better. We'll put you on the Amumu. What can go wrong?
And we'll just grip it and rip it. But Roodood, I think it's so. I feel like I'm having a tough time kind of evaluating Red coming into this one because the drafts, especially, were so shocking in that series against Loud, where you feel like you got to pull out the hairdryer not just for the players but for talkers and the coaching staff as well. They were not set up for success.
No, they weren't. For lack of a better word, and I do love this phrase, I'm pretty sure it's American where I heard it. Utter garbanzo beans is my take on
heard it around these parts. So,
pretty wild, and we'll see whether or not they can sort of make a return to form. I think that if that's the case, Furia do have a very tricky, 3-5 hours up ahead of them. If they can't, then maybe Furia are in a pretty good spot. We take a look at their roster as well. And we're just having Loud in the background to show you who they're going up against in the future. It's not an intentionally wrong graphic, I promise. It's Gigo, Tatu, Toots, Ayu, and Jojo. Again, a team that have only really been felled by people greater than them. They've managed to very easily sweep their way through this lower bracket, but they came here because they lost to Red in the regular season. They lost to Red as well. It's time now for them to try and turn that back around. It's not really been a close run thing between those two teams either. Every time they play against each other, Red kind of smacks them.
Yeah, they certainly seem to have a little bit of a hoodoo over them, which it is a bit surprising to me, just kind of how, I don't know if one side is the right word, but I'll use that for now as a placeholder. But because, especially in a best of 5 Fearless, I'm just excited to see both these teams go at it. For so many, in the top lane, right? FNB versus Gigo, these top laners that are so flippy and can have such just monstrously good or monstrously bad performances. I mean, Gigo has been a little more inconsistent for my money this split, but FNB didn't exactly kind of cover himself in glory in the playoffs so far. But again, I can't get that asterisk of the drafts were really, really poor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, FNB did feel invisible in that series. And you can't be invisible against Gigo. I mean, say what you want about the guy, but if Gigo shows up and plays the League of Legends, we know he can. Either one of these top laners really can take over the game. And I mean, if you're looking at, I mean, that could be very even. But if you're looking at mismatches, the mid lane, again, is where I'm a little bit more worried. But I will say, I do think Tuts is starting to find his groove a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit there that's making us think, this is an area that could start seeing some traction, could start having some benefits as we continue through the rest of this playoffs, and it's going to need to pretty soon, because this is pretty much this is the final weekend, actually, for lack of anything else. This is the last weekend they've got to really show their faces, show their metals, or what it is that they can accomplish. Outside of that, you have to think about what it looks like when we go to the Americas, right? We've got our first little bit of teamage being played, or our final deciding parts from the LCS last night as well. So really exciting to see which of our teams are going to be going to, obviously, first stand, and then who it is that's going to be representing us in the Americas.
Yeah, that should be very interesting. Yeah, for those that missed it, Lion did take down TL kind of in more dumpstery fashion than I would have expected. So we will get inspired at some sort of international event. And Sentinels will be the second team, as well as Cloud9. Whereas for us, it will be some amalgamation of Furia, Red, and Loud. Teams getting into their seats here as we zoom in on the CBLOL Cup here. Yeah, FNB finally got a chance to go international, but it might be the sort of lowercase I international that we got last year again, where, look, I will say FNB acquitted himself very, very well in the Americas. The only team they lost to and ended up being Cade. So, okay, fair's fair, right? You took down 100 Thieves, you took down Shopify. Actually, no, I think they lost 100 Thieves. But then Cade beat 100 Thieves. Yeah, that's what it was. Apologies. Yeah, but look, he still acquitted himself pretty well, like I said. Into draft we go. I'm excited. I really want this to go the full 5 just for pure entertainment value, because, I mean, like, yeah, we always say, like, oh, we want a 5-game series, CBLOL, like, we want a lot of action. But, like, I really think just in terms of the drafts that these two teams can cook up and should cook up, and shoot, I'll even say maybe even for better or worse, we're going to see some wild, wild stuff here in at least these 3 games. So Ambessa locked in first here for both these teams, and Orianna taken immediately by Tuts as the R1, if you will.
Okay, so interesting, actually. I was expecting to see that Orianna come through first. Instead, they end up taking away the Ambessa, which to me, not sold on its particular strengths in this instance, but clearly FNB feels like this is the best thing that I've got to take here, and ends up putting it in his back pocket.
I think it could be going to Curse. I think, but as much, I mean, it would surprise me as far as like stylistically, because Curse doesn't strike, he's a bit more of your kind of Pantheon Wukong kind of this, style of jungler. But okay, it will be. All right.
Okay. Even still, getting that Vi locked in does give over, a decent here semblance of teamfight for Furia. Right, that's a really solid teamfighting duo already. Now with whatever it is they lock in the top side, down on the bot side, we know IU is going to go for some large teamfighting. We're expecting Gigo to be able to try and, I would say, make this top side a little bit flippy, for lack of a better term, that they're probably going to go and make a pretty big meal out of this top lane matchup with either positive or negative connotations associated.
Yes. Yeah, I think you got to get your top laner right here. Just R3, otherwise there will be a couple more target bans coming in hot. Zahen is the hover, and Zahen is the pick. How you like that into Ambessa?
I have no idea whether I like it into Ambessa, but I knew that he wasn't going to pick Sion, and that's the main thing that I was kind of leaning towards here, is that you can put however many twists on this you like. Gigo was better on carries, and I think they learnt that last week. So putting him on something that's got a little bit of agency just seems better than putting him on a Sion and Ornn or whatever. I think that Gigo should have had his own privileges revoked after the series or after the game that we saw from him just last week.
Bard going to be the first takeaway, and then Ashe being swiped away from IU and JoJo, and I think that's something that we will see the rest of the series, Roodood. The Ashe Seraphine duo specifically, but IU, he loves kind of playing that secondary carry, and JoJo as well. They love playing that duo as just a high pressure bottom lane. So top sides picked up for both teams right now. Nautilus taken away as well. We'll see if that takes away the Kai'Sa. I feel like, and maybe if I'm correct, if my memory's wrong, I feel like we haven't seen the Kai'Sa this early in Fearless outside of a duo with Nautilus. A little further down, she can be played a little bit more, but she's not kind of as high prio as I remember kind of back in her heyday.
No, I think the thing is that you wouldn't want to. If you take her here, it's fine for red because you've got really good dive. Furia, I think they're a little bit more geared towards team fighting. So they want somebody who's a team fight marksman more than anything. I mean, this fits the bill to a T.
That'll do it.
Would not be surprised. Ayu gets this locked in, which means that he then gets the opportunity to take a potential enchanter down here as well. So looking at things like Lulu as an option. Could be looking at a lot of other Karma's types of situations that might then give a little bit more option for Ayu down in that bot side. And for red, we mentioned dive. Obviously, with the Kai'Sa still open, we could look for that, but we're looking for something that can offer a little bit of support over the top here. The Jhin does get locked in. We'll see what it is getting paired up with. We know Frosty's got a deep set of pockets with regard to that bot side champions. And in this instance, you might think, well, we have to try and match the enchanter. I think the Karma's probably not a bad idea for them. To try and give them something that will be able to best out whatever support they go for.
Yeah, I don't hate the Jhin Karma, and actually, I feel like I would have liked the Nico a little bit more just to really, like, just go, capitalize the D on the word dive, if you will. But maybe there's a school of thought that says that's overkill. But you do leave that Nico open on the other side, and as just again another ball delivery system, you could chain that together? Question mark?
Maybe. We'll see what it is.
Yeah.
And where they go for. Could be.
But I wouldn't hate this for Khan either. I think that's a fantastic pick in this composition. For me, like you start fights from a couple different angles. That's what I like about it, right? You can attach the ball to a couple different locations and just and send it in.
Go crazy, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the hope. Ego Tatu and Jojo all coalescing ideally in this sort of perfect world. I do like the Karma. It's sort of preempting a Lulu to try and be able to sort of beat it out. The issue with taking that so early is that, well, what if they just don't pick the Lulu here? And that's kind of the pitfall that they've fallen into. Still got a very good lane, and don't expect them to struggle in that aspect, but would definitely like to have seen, or would definitely like to see this Karma be punished.
Instead, it will be, like you said, Roodood, just raw team fight. Let's get a prediction here, though. Our producer, Rose, says Furia 3-1. Chat, let us know what you think in the prediction. I don't know. I think literally any result would not surprise me. Even if there was a 3-0 on either side, that wouldn't stun me. But for the sake of putting a prediction out there, I will say Furia in 5.
Furia win in 5? Okay, I like that. So I actually went for a very similar prediction here, right? On the podcast, Gringos Liberados on our YouTube channel, please feel free to check it out. We upload every week when we've got the season going. I said the same sort of thing, that it would be very funny given the stylistic matchup, right? Red have absolutely demolished Furia every single time they've played this split. If the only time that they didn't was in the playoffs and in these lower finals. So I actually predicted Furia to win this series as well. And I also have it going to 5 games, 4x4. On the podcast, I did say it'd be very funny if they went 0-1, 0-2, and then 3-0'd on the flip side. But I think my realistic prediction is that they're probably going to win, and they're going to win 3-2.
All right, so looks like we are all aligned here. Yeah, there's just something about Furia, man, or about Red. Like I'm having a hard time trusting them all the way. For whatever reason, Furia to me just feel like a slightly more solid outfit. And maybe if I'm being honest, there's a part of me that wants to see Furia be the representatives at first stand. Look, whoever goes is just going to get their teeth kicked in by Gen G. Let's just call a spade a spade. but I think Furia, have the potential to give a little better account of themselves, just based on what we saw last year after Split 1 at MSI. And I want to see them get another crack at it, because they were so close to putting together what would have been, in my opinion, the best showing by a Brazilian team ever at an international event. But instead they fell at the final hurdle twice, once to GAM, once to G2. But I want to see them get back there and prove that they can do better. But look, but that's not to say that Red couldn't. I think that Red are a little more consistent. That's what it comes down to for me. Yeah. But either way, we should get an awesome series here. We're so grateful that you guys are spending your Saturday morning or afternoon or shoot, a night, as it were, for some of you, Yeah, Rude's been on it all day. I got a notification as I went to bed last night that there was some LPL. So
Yep, that I was on.
and then I woke up to
Excellent.
some CBLOL.
That's what you need. I woke up to the LPL and now get to spend the mid portion of my day taking a look through some of the action in South America. Very early, good to see that there's a little bit of help from Kaze as he makes his way into the top side and puts a little bit of a ward down. But let's take a look at these two team compositions overall, right? I think that as we go later on into the game, we're quite eager and quite keen for Furia to be able to win. I think that Red, though, do have this really strong mid-game spiking composition. 2 items on FMB, 2 items on Curse. Kaze going to be a pretty big fiend throughout. So they're the ones for me, Red, that need to start to push the pace of this game nice and early here. They've got the vibe to be able to get things going very early on. And that's kind of the vibe that they need to be fitting with. Otherwise, Furia in this late game, they're going to have such a good team fight. They will have IU on this Yunara able to pop off.
Yeah, he is kind of the skeleton key that takes his composition from good to unbeatable. If the composition can play well around him, and like you said, just team fight well around him, whereas dive is kind of the name of the game for Red Canids. Jin always makes me nervous, but look, a competition with no true tank. Rebello has pulled it off before. You've got Karma for some big old shields in lane. You are able to outrange the other teams, so you can see that kind of manifesting itself on the other side as Curse going to walk right over a ward. Still think it's criminal, and I'll harp on any chance I get that we had a jungler in the CBLOL with the IGN Doom, all caps. I think it's one of the great IGNs like of all time, and I will die on that hill. And instead we went back to Curse, which I get that was his name before, but what are we doing? You had Doom, all caps, and you were slamming kids, and that's why we can't have nice things, I guess. But yeah, both bottom laners kind of hitting level 3, kind of so far. Is that how you? I mean, you kind of talked about it, right? Something to match on the other side, but is that kind of how you expected the bottom lane to go for Red?
You're expecting the Karma Jin lane to be absolutely dumpstering, ideally. If they can't, then that's a pretty big deal. We would like to think that they can get some good advantages very early on and make sure that they can force some recalls, get that early lead that they need, as this duo will require, as the team composition requires as well. And that's more or less the hope for both of these sides, or rather for just Red. You can see a good knockup, but he's got 4th shot ready, so Rebello can be very aggressive when you've got that ready, and that's the power of the Jin.
Absolutely. Looks like Tatu got a hold of that crab via the smite. Seismic shove not going to land. And Tatu should be able to clone his way out of there, or flash.
Presumably, clone wasn't up. Sorry.
Yeah, that is the assumption. I was a little surprised by that. I think I saw like he kind of stopped right near the wall and kind of baiting the the clone went off, but they did not take the bait, and they said, I don't think you have that up, sir, and just kind of went for it. FNB meanwhile not having the greatest time, but look, only down 3 CS and seems to be trading with still a modicum of confidence here. He's got the wave in a pretty good spot, so if nothing else, there's your small victories, I guess.
Yeah, and when you've got this wave in, this pretty good position, Gigo, you'd like to think, would be looking for lethal. I mean, they're both pretty low on HP, so
yeah,
very real possibility that just a quick dive in and a well-timed flash or well-predicted flash, either of these sides might be able to pull off some miracles, but neither of the top laners going to do it. They go back to base, they TP. Probably going to get some armor in their inventories as they come back. No, maybe not. Oh, Gigo, respectable purchase, the longsword and the ruby crystal, but FNB, with a slightly more respectable purchase, manages to get himself a whole Caulfield's Warhammer. So 61 gold gap, doing a pretty big amount of work.
No kidding. Not sure how that manifested itself, but we went refillable pot.
Yeah, Gigo went a refillable too, so he could have had pickaxe, but I guess that's just not in his build path. So either way, it's Red now that have got just this very small advantage on the top side, as Gigo does ding 6, but they're going to be able to get a full all in here.
Yeah, and that ult, such a good trading tool, right? To get that first blood, that grim deliverance. First dragon has spawned here. The 2 bottom laners will jockey over it. The 2 junglers, really. Root does land. Tatu Gonna defend himself here, but Kaze actually gets the Weaver's Wall, goes in on the other side here, lands a seismic shove, but Jojo will get out of dodge. Let's see if Red can take advantage of this and grab that first dragon with the power they've got in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, I mean they have free reign over this. Is the general vibe is that
Yeah.
if they wanted it, this is the time to go for it. But I'm looking at the camps as well. Curse has nothing to be doing in his jungle either, so currently just sort of sitting around waiting for things to spawn for him to take. And I think that he's already wasted the window. If he goes to try and take the dragon now, then Tatu could be out on the map. But he did aggro it with an E, so maybe he's planning it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that is kind of the thing is like this season it's a little easier to solo dragons early. You don't need the whole squad. Is that true?
I think that it was the same last season. I'm going to be honest. You didn't need the fellas
Okay.
last season unless you were playing like Janna jungle or something. But Vi Wukong, they could manage it.
Sure.
Pretty easily. Regardless, either way though, we've got a now opportunity for Tatu on this level 6 marker to try and make his presence felt. These top laners have been scrapping quite consistently, so very real possibility that we see them go again very helpful either with one another. And our junglers dinging level 6, both of them on the top side. It's when Gigo starts to.
Unfortunately. Yeah, not a ton of action here early, but only 7 minutes in. Did get that first dragon just mopped up very easily there by Curse. And I mean, Rebello and Frosty, they're doing what the doctor ordered here. They are just keeping Jojo and Ayu locked under this tower and grabbing themselves a place as well. Yeah, and the CS gap is just, wow. I'm glad you pointed that out to me because I knew I thought it was like 10 or 15, not freaking 30. That is, wow. But then this is $1 million question, Roodood, right? Like, okay, you body the Jin Karma lane. Fantastic. You got even a plate and should get a second one here on this recall. Good. Is that good enough?
Well, no. If it just amounts to that, then no. If this leads on to them getting more, then yes, right? It's about how they use this now time to sort of have an advantage more than anything. If they can use this time to put themselves in a position where they secure multiple sets of plates and they're able to rotate around the map, have a very good time of things doing that as well, then maybe. But they go back to base. He's working nicely towards a Storm Razor here, Rebello, which I think is just one of Jin's. It is just Jin's best item, period. And
yeah, it's nasty.
You run so quick, and you can never get caught. So I think that this break point in items for Rebello, he's going to hit that Storm Razor much before Ayu hits Kraken. So a real possibility that there's a large advantage coming out of that bot side, and a real possibility that Rebello himself will be able to do some dangerous things too for you.
Yeah, certainly got everything kind of locked and loaded here. And Tatu starting up these grubs here on the top side. Nothing to trade, still very far away from that. But you do see the two bottom laners kind of get hoovered into the mid lane initially. And then, or I guess there's the two supports. The 80 carries kind of went down to the bottom lane still. Frosty going on an adventure, just making sure that the vision, if nothing else, that war is still being won by Red Canids. Just the two grubs taken. My Fury. Okay, there we go. The third one does land there. Shockwave is Tuss looking for the all-in here. Just Arcane Comet, no electrocutes. That big kind of bursty threat, not there. Seismic Shove, very nicely landed from Fog of War by Kaze.
Yeah, and I mean, this matchup in the mid lane, maybe one that we were expecting to be red favored. Kaze been by far and away is the best mid laner that we've had through this split, and Tut's not really been able to follow up. Grim Deliverance up on that top side. Fortunately for FNB, there's a little curse waiting in the brush. Hugo still has a lot of HP here, so we might feel confident to step up.
Yeah, looks like the ult has worn down. So, looking for that flash Q. Very nice, but the flash comes in immediately to get away from the public execution. But Curse able to follow up with the ultimate of his own, cycling the abilities very well. But Gigo making the heavy weather of this. Man, oh man. That could have been ugly, but just enough for Red Canids to grab themselves first blood to FNB.
Yeah, I love that from Curse. I personally really thought massively overcommitted there. Turns out that it wasn't the case, and that he successfully had the ability.
It's a results business, right? Because to your point, that was really close to being a disaster.
It was absolutely, on the fringes there of being successful. A pause has happened elsewhere, I feel like, on the map, judging by where the cameras are going, and unless, of course, we're going to go over and then see Gigo just throwing a tantrum over the fact that he
exactly.
Yeah, I think overall, this is usual regular gameplay.
So Red out to an early lead here, and out to a good start in the bottom lane. And like you said, the mid lane a little bit more even than maybe we thought. But look, still early doors. And the comp and the team fighting for both these teams is where really the mustard is going to be made. No, the sausage. Why did I say mustard? Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Just gonna cut the mustard.
that cut. There we go. Thank you.
Saying we
Yeah.
were research.
Yeah, I am curious to see where this composition is gonna where this pause is gonna come from. Rose, what does Red need to do to win? For me, they've got to snowball this advantage, because if it gets to 20, 25 minutes and these compositions are even a little bit similar, I trust Furia's team fighting a lot. But the individual skill of guys on this Red Canids roster, it does favor me. Maybe want to tip the scales towards them a little bit, but some of the champions that they're on don't really have kind of that capital C carry potential. This to me feels like a game where Red have to snowball, especially in this bottom lane, right? I mean, this is an absolute dumpstering that happened in the bottom lane. Oh, hang on a second, and we're just going to go right back in. Tatu going to get the shutdown that actually came in onto FNB.
Okay, I have one kill and I have a shutdown.
All right.
And you know, whether or not that's fair, valid, or anything in between, that's
Yeah,
the situation we find ourselves in, and a little bit more gold goes over to Tatu than we might have anticipated. But he's going to be going back to base, probably picking up his Trinity Force very, very quickly here off the back of that. And now Frosty going to be spotted on a pink ward as they move into the mid lane here. Good setup for Toots as well, as there's a pink ward on the top side of mid. One just gets cleared out on the bot side as well. 50 seconds on the next dragon here, 4x4. That should be Red's go-to. Curse picks up that Divine Sunder, or no Sundered Sky, whichever one it is. It's got the word Sunder in it, can't remember. And is now full in that first item, as is FMB. Stormrazor for Rebello as well. So they have these big ticket items to try and take this fight around the early stages of the game. We do get a replay of what happened up on this top side. FMB here, you can see he's a little bit cautious as well. As soon as his ulti goes wide, thinks, well, there's nothing really here for me to do. But Curse, you can clearly tell, screaming in the comms, get in here, buddy.
Yeah,
We're
go.
And it works out perfectly.
Worked out well, like you said. Yeah, they're going to see kind of the back end of this. FNB just sticking around a little bit too long here, trying to get that shove into the tower, grab himself maybe a plate on the back end. For I know exactly where Red are and what they're doing, but like you said, Roodood, is it enough firepower to go in? Because you talk about some big ticket items, Red do have the advantage ever so slightly, 3 completed items compared to just the 2 for Furia. Will they pull the trigger here? Tuts going with the Ludens early. Just wanting that extra bit of, I mean, that is your kind of really only consistent source of magic damage, so. And with the CDR boots, getting those big ults. Curse, they're doing this for...
I don't mind this for Red, as I mean, Rebello has got the full Stormrazor.
Yeah, they might get collapsed on here. The wall is going to leave Tuts out of the fight. He just flashes forward. He says, I got to get in there, brother. Shockwave, still holding on to it for the big one. Tatu going to be taken very, very low. Here comes the TP. Rebello survives, and he's doing hay over the wall. Going to get the curtain call. He's still in the dragon pit. No one is getting onto him. Gigo pops the ultimate, and he gets ripped through. Man, oh man, look at the health bar. It's like 1,000 collective HP. But Red walk away the winners. It's a 3-for-1, and they get the dragon to boot.
Yeah, they got all 3 on the top side as well. So that's TP in for Gigo, who's not really able to feel the presence. And it is exactly the difference in items. Ayu spends so much time trying to deal DPS there, but he has literally 0 AD outside of that Doran's Blade. So he just can't do the damage. Yeah, he's got a boatload of attack speed, and it doesn't matter that he's free-firing the whole time. Yeah. He's just not relevant. Gigo now goes back to base, picks up that Stride Breaker. He didn't have that first item where FMB TP'd in. He had that full Eclipse, that extra pet set shielding. Really helps him out in that situation. Curse able to buy a lot of time as well. And it is that difference in items that really costs the Furia side here. As you can tell, the health bars being so low, a couple of extra stats, they'll be absolutely fine. Keep your eyes on Ayu here. Hitting for so long, does so much in terms of auto attacks, but just has no AD, no actual damage to be able to get through people. And FNB here walks up. Again, Ayu still free hitting, still free firing, but isn't getting through that front line nearly fast enough. And Rebello opens up with the curtain call, and he's able to do that damage in a much shorter space of time. Yeah,
Ayu tells you everything you need to know. And yeah, if that fight was taken with a full item for Ayu, for me, Furia win that fight. You saw how low the health bars were after the fact. You saw how well IU positioned himself, the CC, and the disruption to keep him safe and keep bodies and aggro off of him was plenty. Right? He should have killed Rebello right there, but instead Rebello has still that 30 CS lead. He's carried over from the laning phase. He's a level up on IU. He's up 2,500 gold on his opposite number. But this is the snowball. Yeah.
But we needed. You're right. This is the snowball that we're looking for. That is needed from the early game.
Yep. Because you get another replay here. Is this just how this fight started potentially?
Off-screen pick.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. JoJo just got absolutely lit up. Yeah. CC chain. There was. Yeah. That's a. Oh yeah. Oh, this just happened right now. Oh man. Yeah. Oh geez. Oh man.
That was a while we were in the replay. Here's another replay of what actually happened while we were in that replay. I mean, he did get a little bit caught there. Good to see that Frosty's able to collapse as well as Rebello being ready there with that Deadly Flourish. Nice to see that he's got the eye in for those. Infinity Edge going to be online relatively soon, and as we take a look 4x4 at this ability for Red to snowball, they've got the Hextech roll. So they're in a pretty good spot here if they can continue finding these dragons. I think that for Tatu, next job around that next dragon, don't really care for the fight. Try to steal away the dragon, find a sneaky way in, and sort of make that your route to stealing away an objective. Buy your team 5 more minutes. Buy IU that little bit of extra time.
Tatu going for the all-in here onto Kaze, but the seismic shove will push literally the monkey off his back. But now, trying to separate him from Gigo, trying to get a little alone time with him, making sure Gigo feels the hurt if he was to aggress there onto Kaze. But just going to go for it anyway. Seismic shove, very nicely positioned, but the raw damage is simply just too much. Another shutdown for Tatu. Gigo and him getting some alone time with that turret in the bottom lane, but on the other side, Herald dropped into the mid lane, not breaking it open completely, but enough to where that with a hop, skip, and a jump, that is going to fall. Curtain call over the top. That's 3 kills for Rebello now. He's feeling really good. Oh, is that? Wow. Okay, no, it is his third. There we go.
Yeah, 3 kills on the board for the Jhin. 2,000 gold to the good over his counterpart. Yeah, Ryu's finished up at Kraken Slayer now, but I have to imagine on this recall here, found an assist earlier. Gets to go back to base and powered recall because he helped take down that Rift Herald. Imagining very shortly here, 4x4, ding, 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 and that Infinity Edge has been picked up. Yeah, so 2 items now deep on the Jhin. Able to get another longsword as well, and this is the beauty of this Storm Razor. You don't need swiftness boots if you've got that Storm Razor. You just move so quickly anyway. Look, 1 auto attack, and he's just charging at IU.
Yeah, no, there's nothing IU can do. You just got to head on back. That 4th shot is just going to put a serious dent in that health bar. Frosty, I mean, leading the line very well as a... Ooh, get some stats here. Hold on. Dragon, 24 games in the playoffs. 24 games in the playoffs, 18 wins for the team that gets the first dragon. 13 wins out of 24 for Red side. So slightly favored there, but the team that gets the first dragon, 18 of 24. It's good work if you can get it.
Yeah, 75% win rate. Hey, we'll take that. And, in this situation, Red are looking pretty good. They found that first dragon. As long as they can continue this ball rolling, this is very reminiscent of their game versus actually Loud in the regular season. Looking for IU.
Oh, IU just completely separated from the rest of the team, and it goes exactly how you think it would. And that's a signal for Furia to say, all right, we're good. So this should be 3 dragons now to 0, and this one completely uncontested for Red Canids. They're absolutely rolling here.
They are indeed. Again, shades of their game versus Loud in the regular season, where Trajan and I were here. We were sat watching this exact same thing unfold. Frosty, in fairness, was playing Pike, and we were saying, hey, man, this game is looking really good. Is anybody marking Tatu if he just walks in here?
Yeah, you gotta be... Yeah, there's enough bodies to where he's going to lose his life if he tries to... Well, okay, never mind. Yeah, he went with the clone. Thought about it. But now you got some backup from Tuts and JoJo. Yeah, no.
Basically, the whole point is, if they don't win the game before 50 minutes, they could very easily still lose it. They still have to win this game before we, can fully cement them as our Game 1 victors.
And for Furia, the lead is getting a little more dire. The Dragons, even less in their favor. Grub's actually 2-1 from earlier. Not that that matters that much in 2026. Gigo gonna get dove here. Does have the ultimate, goes in, but gets rooted and locked up before he's able to do any sort of damage. With the Potato arrives just, and I mean just, at the right time. And now it is a 5v3 if they can catch up. Shockwave's gonna catch one. Kaze able to flash away. Public Execution goes in. The Cyclone gonna provide a little more CC. Jojo can't get in range. Curtain call from the other side of the map. It is your savior, Jin. He only lands a couple of the shots, but that's enough for Red to feel confident enough to turn the fight around. Gigo and Tatu are low. That is a ton of damage coming in from FNB and Kaze. Gigo, if he can get locked up, the deadly flourish doesn't find its mark. If he puts that on Gigo, maybe that's enough lockup to grab themselves another kill. So after all that, just Frosty goes down.
Yeah, all 5 of Furia do escape, and they, find a kill. But they're losing out on the turret. They lost out on a mid-wave as well. So overall, things aren't going truly amazingly for Furia here. Good from Gigo here to be able to have at least delayed the initial dive and been able to survive for long enough. And then Furia really call in the cavalry. They go for all 5 members. Tuts flashes in, gets a shockwave, but only lands onto one. He's the big area of this map where they've got a massive gold lead. He's 1k up over Kaze right now, so he really needs to be landing those onto more people.
All right, and Frosty will go down again here. A couple of supports getting caught out here. I was gonna launch into a tangent about when things are good. You see the America's Cup down there. Yeah, it's gonna be. It might literally be next week, is what I heard, which is pretty fun. So yeah, once the champions are crowned for CBLOL and LCS, then you get on that flight.
Plane 2 and 3.
You are going to Brazil. Brazil obviously going to host First Stand in a little bit. Would have been awesome to see Faker down there. Obviously, he's got fans everywhere. But it will be Gen G and Fear X. They were the other team that qualified. It seems like. So.
Yeah, that was the. I didn't catch the full series this morning, but it was them or DK. So whoever won this morning's game will be the team heading on to First Stand.
Do we have any LPL reps locked up or not yet?
No, not currently. The series for that gets played probably at some random midweek point, knowing the LPL, because they play all of playoffs in the span of like 2 weeks. So, yeah.
That's how it goes.
Oh, yeah. We have an upper final between BLG and JDG, so either one of those two teams will be there. We just don't know which. It looks like BLG for the most part, but we're not too certain 100% yet.
Okay. There's your LPL update, contractually obligated, but still yet sponsored LPL update. FNB Rebello.
Why is that?
Yeah.
I mean, technically they're paying me, so I don't know. I'd call that as sponsored as it gets.
Yeah. No, okay, that's fair enough. Up the tree. That's sponsored. FNB and Rebello, they've got themselves both heel cut here, strictly just for the Zahen. I think, unless there's something I'm missing. The Tuts, Tuts on the other side. He's got himself a second item, going to be that Zanya. Fiend Hunter bolts coming in for IU as well. You talked about the 2 items for the side of Red Canids. For both these, for a couple champions. I mean, the 2 items on Vi. This is her signature 2-item spike. You can start to really make hay here. And Curse, I mean, just screaming in. Speed boosted up there by Frosty. He's got the Echoes of Helia, so going to be a little more healing on that side as well. FNB going to take that tower down, give themselves just all the room in the world to play with. Because guess what, Roodood? 45 seconds, we got another dragon up. So that Chemtech, or that Hextech soul, is going to feel really good on kind of whoever. You're not going to get as much value out of it as just from a kind of true AD carry, if you will, more traditional, I'll say, AD carry. But still, to keep everybody in their place, land a key seismic shove, land a key deadly flourish. I mean, there are a lot of key abilities that everyone just holds still a little bit longer. You can snowball a fight with for Red Canids. Let's see if they take it right on spawn here, as their vision is getting ripped through on the top side, but they still know exactly where they are. Curse looks like he's potentially still looking for a pick. Kaze playing the vision game, but he doesn't know there's a stealth ward right there in that mid lane.
If I'm Rebello, I'm screaming, any fight is a good fight. I've got 3 full items. I went back, finished off my mortal reminder. Peel me, keep me safe. We can't lose is the kind of vibe that we should be seeing from Rebello right now, because there's barely any armor on this Furia side as well. So don't leave it to chance. Don't leave it to 50-50. Try and find a fight. Kaze's got the Weaver's Wall ready to go. And if Furia don't spot him here, that's then a problem.
Dragon going to get unaggroed. Kaze will show himself, and they lock up Curse, and down he goes. So that should be the Dragon over to Furia, but what about the fight? FNB goes in with the public execution, goes right back out with massive, and I mean massive shielding.
Wide.
Fourth shot goes wide from the curtain call. Wouldn't have been the death of Gigo, but certainly would have taken him out of the fight for a bit. He doesn't have TP either, but you know who does? That's FNB. And he's going to TP right back into the fray. He should anyway. There goes the Weaver's Wall. So Dragon taken by Furia.
It's
FNB.
not good.
Yeah, he goes right back in. Frosty in some trouble. Does land the root, though. Fantastic play by the red support to keep himself alive and keep his team in a good spot. It's a 1-for-1 as Rebello does go down. That should be the signal for Furia to go right back in, but Kaze playing this very nicely as well. So it is just a 1-for-2.
And Red just played the fight just so poorly. They send Rebello into the mid lane, leaving Curse out on an island. He then gets engaged on, gets picked off. Really good pickup from Jojo, Tatu, and Tuts to recognize, okay, the jungler's there. We need to take them down and delay our game for 5 more minutes. And that was the first job. But then they look to try and take a fight, re-engage in a 4 versus 5, which again, completely lost, completely misguided. As soon as they see the Jhin walk up and take that mid wave, they immediately snap on an engage. And it does such a good amount of damage and so much work, really, to make this fight all but won for Furia off the gates. And DP comes in from FNB, so looking to use that big shield to try and split this fight, but the wall doesn't last for long enough, not quite timed well enough to section the carries from Furia. Ego lands a good grab onto Rebello, and as soon as that lands, you know that he's going to fall as well. All of Furia pretty much immediately put all the damage down that they can.
Now Furia right back in this one. Only down 700 gold. That is a nominal amount of gold. Baron has been up for a couple minutes as well. And now, Roodood, do you feel like the balance of power is tipping a little bit? We haven't seen Ayu get really involved. I mean, he's not been kind of the hard carry so far, but he's got his couple first items here. He doesn't have a kill to his name just yet, but he is, like we said, the straw that stirs the drink. If he can stay safe in these team fights as the game gets going later and later, it's hard not to favor Furia.
And they've already got so many advantages, sort of that top side as well. Jungle and mid both, you know, nearly 2,000 gold ahead apiece as Curse now caught.
Yeah, jockeying for that vision. Deadly Flourish splits the uprights. Quickness pop by Jojo. Doesn't find anybody. Gigo was looking for his way in on the other side. The pig's coming down. They say, what are you doing there, big guy? But that would have been a pretty epic collapse in a good way there for Furia, should they have pulled that off. But Kaze taking no chances here with the Weaver's Wall. And try to do some damage to this mid lane. Yeah, it's almost down with another wave. You like they're able to take it down. Seismic Shove lands there onto Gigo as Frosty and Jojo have a tickle fight in the hallway.
Be careful again. If they show Rebello in that mid lane and they're looking for a fight instead.
Ult goes in. Tatu taken very low. Pops the clone Cyclone. FNB and Gigo on the other side. The curtain calls. Going to do some damage there. But again, a couple of ultimates blown here. But on the other side, a couple of ultimates down as well. Obviously, the Cyclone having to be used defensively. Shockwave should be back up in no time flat if they want to look for something. But still, Red doing a pretty good job with their lane assignments and just kind of sieging down these last couple turrets. But no pain, no gain. I mean, the turrets are still standing. So
yeah,
wasn't really good lane assignments.
Well, they got a little bit of chip damage down. Yeah. Whether or not they can go and repeat that in minutes time once they've been back to base, spent their gold, etc. We'll wait and see. I think that from here, I'm still not against Red taking this game. They've got still this very, very strong Jhin, who I do think has an opportunity to do a good amount of work here. Only 2 items for Gigo, so I expect the Jhin to be able to get through him in a decent amount of time. Kaze as well in these team fights has been doing a lot of work in terms of consistently positioning properly. At this stage in the game, he has a fully stacked tier item and a Rylai, so he's not doing a lot of damage. But when we hit that late game, I expect Kaze to actually start ripping through people, because the difference between having a Leandries and not having a Leandries is a lot. The difference between Deathcap and not also quite considerable. It's a very utility build for Kaze in this game, but as soon as he gets those full stacking and on those high ticket items, see him be able to do some good work also. But Tuts is 3 items deep. He's gone for traditional damage, right? Lewd and Shadow Flame. This is not messing around, as FNB is stepping up mid lane.
Yeah, he's got to be a little careful. He doesn't overstep. Got a few Jhin traps in the mid lane as well, but a lot of vision in the choke points by Furia. On the other side, 25 seconds to go for the next dragon. And Curse again caught out and just deleted. Rinsed and repeated For Jojo and Tatsu, they popped their ult. Everybody popped their ultimates, to be fair. So 4 of them down. Tuts or Ayu transcending, getting ready for the potential fight ensuing on the other side. And now Furia should be able to walk away with this dragon as well. A couple of blunders vision-wise before these last couple dragons.
Yeah, and I wonder if that means that Red are going to look to try and take a turret in the mid lane as their response. But you can see Furia, no hassle. They just walk in, take that, and okay, Gigo used his ulti to not get hit by that. Maybe he expected there to be a few more people in that brush than there actually were. Kaze's chasing, though.
Yeah, he is chipping everybody down in the Rylai, certainly helping him keep within striking distance. Seismic shove. Jeez Louise. Almost lands there as well. He's able to get out of dodge. Furia walk away with another kill and another dragon. So they're hanging around Roodood, and that's the most dangerous thing you can allow Furia to do, especially with this kind of composition, is hang around.
Yeah, and I mean, for Red as well, they're not quite doing what they need to here, right? They could have had the soul 5 minutes ago. They could have had the soul just now, but it's Curse. Seemingly in these big games that he's just slightly losing out, right? The 6-1 quote-unquote game that they were supposed to have at the end of regular season versus loss was lost due to him getting caught out. And in this game here, he's already been caught twice around crucial neutral objectives. Frosty either not there, not ready, or if you want to try and color it, didn't give him the support that he needed. And once again, you can see what that means to the coaching staff. Starting out a best of 5 with a win is so powerful. Make sure that Furia in this game with this slightly better scaling composition, they can continue with this assault back, clawing back the gold lead they've done such a good job at so far. Now they're dead even, but it's a game of 2 lanes here. So it's jungle and mid for Furia versus the top and AD for Red. FNB level 17 on this Ambessa. We go back to base, pick up maybe the Chempunk Chainsword, maybe in fact looking for a different third item. A Death Stance wouldn't be a unfounded Ambessa item as well. So when that comes through, you'd like to think that he can quite handily deal with Ayu, but it really does depend. Can Curse get there as well?
Yeah, no cleanse for Ayu either. Does have the flash and the barrier with both 80 carries. Ended up cooking up. But FNB, I think he's trying to get that last little bit of gold that he might need. And I think the Death Dance Rooted, I think you're spot on, is going to be that third item. Wave coming in hot here. The Demolish proc will get one more plate. Let's see if that's enough. Yeah, I think that's just what he's waiting for there. You see the total damage on the left side in English, which is surprising to me. Not Dono Total. We are not in the LTA anymore. But hey, still playing nice for everybody. Curse, having done as much damage as Rakan, is tough.
Yeah, it is. I am feeling a little bit left wanting from this Vi. I think that they were a little bit missed from Curse through this early game. But the good thing is that as long as he presses R onto Ayu, then we should be good. That's all he needs to do. Vi, not a difficult to execute champion. Point and click onto Ayu, press R button.
And like you said, you talked about it for FNB, is that Death Dance does indeed come through. That he's got a sight set on Ayu as well. And look, again, not unfounded, right? If you can get onto this this Yunara, the whole game just gets so much easier. And the rest of the damage from Red Kid should be enough to just overpower the rest of Furia. FNB up a completed item on his counterpart, but Gigo probably sitting on some gold here. That gold difference doesn't quite pass the sniff test. He should be sitting on a little bit. But both teams right now just, I think, recognizing that, look, this game is on a nice edge right now. Furia wanted to get that third item for everybody. When it comes in, Hex Drinker has come in here for Tatu as well. He gets hit by a couple of pebbles by Kaze. Could spell death for him. But meanwhile, the Leanders has come in for Kaze as well. Rebello on his 4th item.
I know that we're always scared about Yunara damage in the late game, but I mean, Jhin in the late game can absolutely chunk you if you get just 2 autos. Probably 2 taps Ayu if it's a 4th shot included in there with maybe a Q and a little bit of surplus damage from Kaze. He's got the RFC in there as well, so it's a 100% crit chance already for the Red Marksman. As you can see, Furia and Jojo in particular just sort of taunting him, putting a pink ward down, saying, lol, you're playing Jhin, what are you going to do? Would expect them to try and clear that out, as they do manage to get the grab, but 40 seconds on this dragon. Baron is not the point of this game at the minute.
Oh, seismic shove might be the go button here for Red Canids. Tuts pops a stopwatch. Curtain call held back just a little bit. There he presses R onto Tuts. Not on an IU, but he's free firing still. Shockwave goes out, helps him out a little bit here. Tatsu able to flash away. FNB catches up to him. It's a double for the top laner. Rebello still staying alive on this Jhin and doing so much work. Gigo gets a kill on the back end, but it's a 3-for-1.
And finally, the time that Red take a fight without Curse getting picked off is the time that they find a fight that they like. It's Rebello free hitting the entire time. It's Frosty buffing him up as well to make sure that he does not fall. They're going to turn to the Baron. Maybe they'll try and take the soul afterwards as well. I mean, if I'm Furia here, I'm really, really nervous, but I'm trying to make sure that Gigo can get down to that dragon as soon as possible. They're not taking this Baron very quickly. This is a Jhin Baron of all things, but take the Baron. They're going to make their way down to the dragon, try and secure their soul as well. And from here, the game becomes a lot easier for Red. They've got that late game insurance policy in the Jhin, in Kaze as well, who's doing pretty darn well. And they've got this, what will be sort of 4,000 gold lead, the Hextech Soul to boot, to hopefully put their way through this game.
Two massive spikes here with the Hextech Soul and the Baron now. And the Baron will go on to only 4 members. Kaze did lose his life in the prior fight. But now, Roodood, they've got a huge chance to pop this game wide open. Kaze getting Tuts on the tip of that seismic shove.
Yeah, and I mean, this whole fight, it looks like actually with a good shockwave coming back through that maybe there's a good amount of burst, but the GA actually does a lot of work because they do lose out on 2 people, but Curse just is able to come back to life. Kaze does end up falling after a flash and a Grim Deliverance from Gigo, so they commit very heavily for the Talia. But that GA worked overtime for Curse, and now Red, they can walk through this top side with reckless abandon, really. You can see the 2 jungle and supports actually pairing up quite nicely here. Frosty on one side, Curse on the other. Try and make some plays through to this top lane. Tier 2 turret is your expected target. Oh my god, look at Rebello's inventory as well. Vampiric Scepter and Seeker's Arm Guard.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, just opting for that little bit of safety here. Looking for kind of that game-winning fight. Deadly Flourish lands. That's your go button. Curse going in. Tatsu responding with a Cyclone. Grim Deliverance in. There goes Public Execution as well. Curse goes down. Popped immediately like a balloon. Will not have the GA this time around. Seismic Shove keeping everybody in place. And Rebello, again, just absolutely free hitting. Untouched. Didn't even need that Seeker's Arm Guard. He gets absolutely just the freest kills he's going to find. This could be a 5-for-0, Roodood. It's an ace.
Quite easy, quite well done as well for Red. That's going to be game 1 with Baron at their backs. Some Chrysalis to take down that structure as well. But it's a Rebello show, baby. 7, 1, and 6. This Jhin went unchecked in one team fight too many. Level 18, Seekers in hand. He'll get to T-pose on them under the Nexus as well. Great start for Red Kalunga.
It got a little bit dicey there in the mid game, but it really did feel like you kind of said it as, I mean, almost not a throwaway comment, but like after the one fight, you said, oh, if Curse can stay alive, right? This is the one fight they got of the last 3 that Curse stayed alive. And with the GA, with the ultimate still available, the impact he was able to have in just the chaos he was sowing in the back line of those fights made it so easy for Rebello.
Literally, it really, it was Frosty as a pairing as well. I do think this Karma had a really, really good showing.
Yeah.
It was able to do quite a lot of work just by keeping your Jhin safe and alive is always the go-to goal, more so than anything. But I mean, this game is always going to be that top lane that we were ignoring, that bot lane that we were looking towards. And I think that we got this tactical buy here as Rebello that game all his to win.
You always kind of hold your breath when the Jhin is picked, but in the year of our League of Legends gods 2026 and even 2025, right, like big beefy tanks aren't really being picked as much in the top lane, so Jhin is definitely a safer pick. But Roodood, we called it out. Look, the advantage you can get in that lane, especially with the Karma, can be so huge, and that's exactly what happened. And we call for it to snowball, because it's all well and good to dominate the lane. What are you doing on the back end? But Curse, I mean, for a couple of his team fight foibles, kind of setting up poorly and getting caught out before a couple of the key dragons, letting Furia back into it. Let's not make any bones about it. Him and Frosty, like you were saying, were monstrous in the mid game and in the team fights as well, just setting up for the picks in these fights that started with just one ability, one seismic shove, right? One deadly flourish that lands, and then they just dove and just eliminated whoever was in front of them.
And like you say, right from there, it's just all to do, and really easily to do as well for Red. Furia found some good success when they were able to get their own engages, but the second that wasn't the possibility, that's then where we found a lot of difficulties, right? So it's a complete duality. I do think that this is a bit of a worrying trend for Red. Curse in particular has made a little bit of a habit of getting caught out in situations they might not want to. It's fortunate enough in this time that it was early enough in the game that it didn't matter, but through the rest of this series, we need to be careful that that's not happening in the late game clutch pivotal moments.
So, all's well that ends well, because, hey, you got the dub, but on the other side, Furia surely going to answer back with a vengeance. They almost got back into this one, very, very close, just a couple of, really one, I think if Tuts dodges that seismic shove, that he gets caught out in that mid lane, the momentum was certainly on their side. They could have gotten that third Hextech Dragon, push it to a soul fight. Maybe this game would have been different, but alas, in the lower bracket, win or go home. Furia down 1-0 to Red Canids. When we come back, we'll have game 2 and then 3, and who knows, maybe even 4 and 5. You'll have to stick around to find out. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. Game 2 on the horizon here for you. 4F4 and Roodood going to be taking you through the rest of this series to see who's going to face Loud in the upper bracket. We're back in 2022, Roodood. It never ended. Yeah, your time off has coincided with Loud's time off, and now we're just in some ways it's comforting, I guess. In some ways it's also maddening, I imagine.
Somehow, all that Loud needed was to pair up perfectly with my clock, and that's led them to this position now, where they're in a very good position. Obviously, going to be making it some sort of international. They have to win one best of 5 tomorrow. If current trends are to be followed, it's against a team that they've already beat in best of 5. So we'll see where they land. I mean, they are obviously the team to beat at the top of the table. But for Furia and for Red, they've still got to do the hard work and get through this best of series here. So best of 5 underway. Red took first blood in that. Pretty convincing game. Rebello on the Jhin did very, very well. It's worth saying. But from that mid lane, maybe surprisingly, Tuts had a 2k gold lead pretty much consistently throughout that game. On the flip side of things as well, we did see Tartu again with a decent advantage in game number 1. It's where we've seen Furia do so well previously, is when Tartu is online. So we'll see if he can actually make that happen once again here.
In a draft we go. Yeah, for Furia, I mean, it kind of like the early game draft wasn't built to kind of win lanes, but it was built to win the game. And Roodood, they got very, very close. They're going to pick themselves blue side and first pick here, or I guess I don't know who picked what, but you know what I mean. They got them. They are on blue side and will get first pick here. The bans. You do leave the Lulu open. You do leave. Nope, Varus is not open. Rise first picked immediately here for Tuts.
Okay, so we'll see if Kaze's feeling the spice of those mid-range mage killers in the Anivia or the Cassio to get locked in this first rotation. Probably going to come through on 3 if there's a lot of junglers. These two players might like. Xin Zhao screams to me out as being open, and first could have a look at that. There you go. It gets picked on up, and then if there's a top laner or an AD carry that either of these two sides are looking for, notably Corki, one of those marksmen that has typically been very highly sought after in the current meta, just does so much damage. Wouldn't be a surprise if that gets picked up nice and early doors as well.
Xin Zhao on the other side. For Kurth, he has made a lot of hay on this champion, as have many CBLOL junglers, to be fair, but the Ezreal going to be paired up with him as well. Want to be playing from range, want to be playing slowly, playing a little more patiently these fights. Rebello going to be on a little bit more high skill cap ADC, to put it lightly.
Yes, I'm sorry to all the Jhin players out there. I myself, a Jhin player. That champ plays itself when you hit 4 items. You run really quickly, you auto-attack people. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's an argument for landing skill shots, but who knows? As Tartu locks in the Jace, the Ezreal is going to be answered with Poke as well, and the Scion gets locked into the top lane here for Gigo. So we said, Gigo looks better on those carries, those top style champions that can perform. They take him off of them after game number 1, and it's going to be locked to Scion duty.
Yeah, so there's subplot number 1 is Gigo back on the tanks. Let's see what he goes up against, right? Let's see what they ban out, what FNB opts to respond with. Frosty going to be on Leona meanwhile. And subplot number 2, Furia still feeling like they're opting for a little more team fight. They're playing for the late game a little bit more. This Jace will be going to the jungle here, so Tatu does get something pretty explosive to try out here and to try and snowball.
He does. And now for Furia, they have to try and find, are they going to go for more Poke here, or is it just Jace setting up? I think that they should be banning away the Gwen here on this first rotate or second rotation as well.
Into the Scion.
Very classic answer to a tank on that top side, and I don't have any AP yet, so always going to be a good ban.
Whoa.
Instead, we get a Zoe out of left field, so Kaze's pick into the Rise does get taken away, which means that we're going to have Cassio and Anivia still open if you fancies either of those. Or, of course, we're just going to get Gwen left open, and then you would expect FNB to try and take that for himself.
Yeah, if they leave the Gwen open, that's immediately where your attention has to go, obviously. And FNB, he's done a lot of good on that Gwen. He's had a lot of oopsie moments on that Gwen, but clearly he feels comfortable enough on the champion to keep playing it, keep coming back to the well. Senna and Sivir being taken away on the other side, just not letting those hyper-scaling, big, monstrous teamfight AD carries through. But of course, Roodood, there are still a couple that can come through. If it's still the flavor of AD carry you want, the Ophelio's still open.
No, I'm looking at Lucian Braum here for Furia. I think Braum's really good versus Leona. I think that the Lucian gives you an extra little bit of poke with that culling. So somebody steps upon a mid wave, you accelerated shock blast, you culling them down. That can just be somebody's full health bar. The Gwen does get banned away here, so you'd expect to see a mid lane pick. Nice mage getting locked in here for Kaze. Be it the Anivia, be it the Cassio. For my money, Anivia is just so good versus Sion anyway, because you're able to block him off if he ults you. That it's just such a good pick to have in the back pocket to answer it. But we'll see what it is that Red look for. Can't be convinced that Kaze's not got something else crazy to go into.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're banning away a Zoe against the kid, then all bets are off. Gnar will be the answer into the Scion, so just kind of neutralizing that lane a little bit. Nothing too exciting to write home about. See what IU and company are going to lock in for themselves. Yeah, topside completely picked up here for Furia. Like we said, they fell us open. If you get the Lucian Braum again, you're famously very good at predicting these drafts. Or maybe it's just selection bias, and you had been in the time that I've been with you. Maybe even crap on LPL. Who knows? But I imagine it has not been the case.
No, well, they opt for the Corki, which is also absolutely fine. And I don't mind Corki Nami here as an option to just absolutely slam what is going to be a pretty weak level 1 for the Leona explicitly. Obviously, Ezreal, one of the strongest marksmen level 1 because he gets ramping attack speed and a spare spell to go crazy with. But I don't mind them holding mid here because Anivia, one of these champs that really favors immobile targets. The second you see Corki locked in, you don't really want to play the Anivia anymore. So it feels like that's why Red held this pick. Whereas if you can catch Scatter onto a Corki, you still one-shot him regardless of whether or not he has Valkyrie or not. Syndra gets locked in. It's a really good answer to the Rise as well with being this mid-range marksman, or mid-range battle mage rather. But it does mean that Red are once again feels like a little bit gated by time here in that sense that
A little bit.
their team fight is more difficult to play as we get later just because they've got slightly squishier pieces and they're going to have slightly more things to watch out for in terms of Scion plus a wave coming through, the realm warping of a Scion into the backline.
What caught my eye, Roodood, Syndra 7-1 in CBLOL so far. That is quite the lopsided split.
Not bad if I do say so myself, you know.
Not even a little bit bad. That is really fantastic stuff. A couple of short range targets, right, to kind of try and catch out for the side of Furia. But like you said, with Red Canids, this is pretty tough to execute. But you do have still, like in game 1, I mean, tougher to execute than in game 1, gated by time like in game 1, and like in game 1, you do have still Rebello on a champion that once he gets past a certain point, again, way tougher to execute, but can absolutely just take over a game by himself.
Yeah, can take off, right? Like, can properly deal with everything that Furia is throwing at them. So it's a big question mark once again. It's Doctor's putting his faith in the hands of the players and saying, if you guys think you can manage this, get it done. And game number 1 they did. Game number 2 we'll see if it's possible.
I think that's JoJo's dad. It's either JoJo or Todd. I don't know. It's a dad that is always there in the Fourier jerseys. I think it's JoJo's dad, but yeah, you'd love to see that.
Not in the Manchester United jersey.
No, because he's a man of culture. He's not going to be wearing that rag. Yeah.
Southampton fan, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah. Look, I've got no. You know, we've not even close to hit the Manchester United banter club as they are right now. We have not even close to hit those heights, obviously. But hey, hoping to come back up after setting almost resetting the Derby's Premier League record for worst Premier League season of all time. Came down with 12 points last year. It was rough.
Oof. Yeah, I remember Derby currently had 11 right at one point, but
10 in 2008. Yeah.
10. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was really rough.
I only respect the Manchester United jersey in Brazil because they had a couple of, I mean, Bruno Fernandes right now, but they had two.
Well, he's Portuguese.
Left and right backs. Oh yeah, he is. You're right. But there was a left and a right back twin duo or little brother duo, Fabio and Rafael, that played for Manchester United way back when, and they were both Brazilian, and that was good vibes.
Now I think it's just Casemiro. Stitched together with chewing gum and chicken wire, Casemiro. But hey, still doing a job. They're up to 5th place, so I don't know. Can't get too mad. Anyway, this is not a Premier League podcast.
Really?
This is CBLOL. Yeah, truly. Oh. And this I think would be a little more interesting than Premier League podcast. Roodood, this composition for Red Canids, it really worries me. I mean, how do they win? Because I mean, the team fight and the pick potential is certainly there, right? You can isolate a target, but like it kind of feels like it's just like an anti-dive competition,
I think
right?
it's one of those things more than the other, right? You highlighted a team fight and a pick. I think it's very much geared toward pick. You have Syndra's in Zao. This is a 2v2 that doesn't miss, doesn't lose. If they can't function as a duo well, that's bad. And that's not something that's going to go down all that well for them. As they get into those team fights, it is going to make their life much more difficult. So I'm going to be slightly cautious when I say that Red are, favored with this draft. But I do think, we saw it in game number 1. They were more than easily able to handle the, not even pitfalls, but just the difficulties that they were presented with the draft that they had. And good to see as well, really small thing, but Kaze has the hidden stun tech locked down, which is always really good to see. You can effectively scatter first, place the ball second, and then still have the scatter go forward. As Ayu and Frosty getting a little bit close for one another's liking there. I was surprised that Frosty didn't either go for the engage or take a boatload of damage, and then the latter happened.
Oh, over the wall. I thought that was going to hit a little harder, but I'm just happy that it hit. FNB is so low. Sure, I mean, it's just 2 autos, right? Pop the W. There you go. Attaboy Tatu. First blood for the Furia jungler.
And, your Gigo here, you're thinking, well, I did all the hard work. Why is my jungler getting the kill? But then you realize you're playing Sion, he's playing Jason. Sometimes you've just got to suck it up, unfortunately. Great first blood coming through for the top side of Furia. FNB on this Gnar, I mean, clearly struggling, to be honest with you, right? Down 10 CS, has to TP back to lane after getting killed, and definitely not the position you would have thought that they would find themselves in.
No.
Rebello forward here.
Yeah, it was kind of a sideways E that ended up going forward, and I was okay. We can just do this. He did get hit by the Nami Q, the Aqua Prison, but he did buffer that E, like you said, went sideways. Not ideal, but Rebello after this recall should be able to come back with a tier. Again, not going to set himself too far back. Wouldn't like to think it's if you hit that Q, maybe you force Kaze into a precarious situation here. But so Rooted with the secret stun tech. So basically, you can hit the E, and as it's buffering, drop the Q down, and it'll fling it.
It's a very precise timing and positioning on it. You have to press the Q at the very end of your E range. So wherever the scatter goes, like where that end of the animation is, that's where you have to Q. Oh,
because the wave kind of travels out from your character?
Yeah, exactly. And if you do it just a little bit too close, then the Q doesn't spawn in time. If you do it too late, then you're just stunning thin air, or rather pushing back and then not actually stunning anything. So like I say, it's a very precise timing. It's genuinely quite mechanically difficult, but if you do it reliably or consistently, once you've got the timing down, it is one of those things that you can sort of replicate, which is always nice. So good to see that Kaze's just saw a little glimpse of it in the mid lane, had it on him, and maybe we'll get to see it in the late game as well. It's very risky though, because if you try and go for it, and obviously you fluff it, then you've just wasted your stun. You're a Syndra stun. You are a Syndra. You're done for.
Yep. Flash Ghost for Kaze. So
same as last game,
yeah, and for Tuts as well. We are seeing that a little bit more out of mid laners. I feel like we have a
Yone exhaust in the LPL today.
Wow,
which was just. I mean, it won obviously, but it was
sounds very demonic,
demonstrable to have to watch. Yeah.
One plate down here. FNB just getting completely shoved off this wave, off his tower. Tatu. Shock Blast just goes barely wide. Curse going to pop the dragon here. He's got pretty good safety. Yes, bottom lane keeping the other bottom lane occupied. Kaze getting the shove here onto Tuts. Still 1,000 gold lead early on for Furia.
Can I make a prediction here for Wayfall?
Please.
This game's already over.
I think so.
And Furia have won. And that's really sad, because I could very well just be entirely wrong. But I'm looking at this picture-in-picture right now up on that top side. I hope we get to come back to it.
Oh, Tatu flashing forward. Yeah, it might be it's certainly looking better for your statement.
And it is now. And my question to the chat as well, for those who may deny me, is who's killing Gigo?
Yeah.
Rebello's going to take a long time to get through Gigo. Kaze, he's going to have to be ulting the Sion on repeat. is the sad practical situation that we find ourselves in here. So I'm fairly certain that Gigo will just dumpster the entire game, be an immovable object, and this passive nothingness that's happening in the bot side and the mid lane for Red isn't enough.
I think you might very well be right. I think that is kind of a key question to ask, right? Who is able to take down Gigo? You don't have a traditional tank shredder. Like you said, once Gigo or once Rebello, as you see here, Tatu just flashing forward with that shot blast. First Jace game I've ever casted this in 2026 also.
Oh.
So finally get to see him. He's
He
always
was banned for all of, the majority of the
Exactly.
regular season, so that does make sense.
Yeah. So I finally get to see this. Total gold, you see, yeah, Tutu, hello. Gigo and Tatu are just kind of running the show right now. 1,000 gold lead. I mean, pretty much the entirety of the gold lead for Furia rests in the hands of one man. And to your point, Roodood, one of the worst places for it to go into this composition for Red.
Yeah, they're gonna have to muster something sort of out of thin air almost here, and maybe it's gonna come from the bot side. Ayu and Rebello dicing with one another, but Frosty's waiting in the wings, kind of just waiting to see whether or not he'll Valkyrie forward kind of aggressively.
Oh, there
Rebello
you go.
needs to like E randomly.
Oh, and maybe Ayu didn't see him. Yeah, just the observer switching the vision off, cleanses the stun immediately, but able to flash away. So you got both the Corki summoners. Rebello took a lot of damage. You got to be careful here. He's not out of the woods.
Stun.
Jojo. Get a little bit of healing onto Tuts, but the Aquapers are not going to land. That's going to hit level 8 here. Rebello and Frosty going to get the shove down into this bottom wave. Yeah, I mean, but the question kind of then you're kind of proposing, Roodood, is where do Red manufacture this lead? Where if they do, where do you see it coming from? Because the top side looks cooked.
And manufacture is the real word. They're realm walking top now to try and take down FNB once again. Flashes, does it matter?
No, you're just getting turbo camped here. Tut's going to get in on the action. So now a kill for each of the members of the top lane. And look, FNB isn't even doing anything wrong. Just Jace got through, and he's just
I don't know that we can say FNB did nothing wrong. He did end up under his turret, 20 HP at level 3, and allowed for Tatu to come in and get that auto attack. Like, that dive was always going to happen, whether or not Tatu landed the accelerated shock blast to begin with. So there's clearly something that went wrong in that very early laning phase that Gigo has been able to punish. And FNB here, I'm looking at the items. Oh, just a, full completed item for Gigo versus some shoes and a longsword. So it's a little bit sad. To answer your question, though, 4x4, where are they manufacturing the lead? It has to come from the bot side. You want to get as far away from anybody who's got gold as possible.
Curse able to connect there with the wind becomes landing onto Ayu, gonna get hit by the tidal wave, but the CC chain is fantastic, and the true shot barrage over the top will help Rebello secure the first kill of the game, a much needed one for Red.
Now we just need to do that 4 times, get Rebello 4 kills, and then swap his champion to Vayne, and we could still look into winning this game. I mean, that's a good place to start. This is as good as it's going to get. You need a very early Black Cleaver as Curse here to cut down the armor that we know Gigo's going to be building up. So this, it's a good start. It's the first step in the right direction, but I don't know that it's the icing on the cake that seals Red's victory and the 2-0 start.
No, looking like we're headed for a game 4 eventually. You're going to get another look at this, Jojo. You stepped up a little too far here. I had no idea Curse was in that brush. Responded okay, to be fair. Threw down all the CC he could, but the CC chain was just too strong. Frosty stayed on him. Curse stayed on him as well. So got him going as well with the assist. Frosty well on his way to his first full item. First dragon taken by Red as well. Grubs grabbed by Furia. So Red, they seem to have stopped the bleeding a little bit here, but I mean, God, just look at the health bar. I know it's Mininar and it's a bit of a false representation, but oh my God, it just looks so bad.
Down. Like that's the bad thing here is that he's got -2 levels. As you get to see a nice, I wouldn't even call it an escape, but nice timed recall here for Kaze in the mid lane, who finds himself with a massive gold lead of 15 up against the Rise. So quite clearly going to be enough to deal with Gigo here. For the Red Canids, again, very worried, but for Furia, still looking at them as though they've got a little bit to prove to me. This Furia team, as far as their abilities through this split, have they grown was one of the questions sort of posed by the podcast this week, and sort of answer, not really. We haven't really seen them do anything different than we saw from them in week number 1, where Red, at the very least, it feels like there has been some semblance of development.
Scout of the week not going to land when it becomes lightning. Doesn't land as well. Tuts using the phase rush to get himself to safety, just barely sidestepping what could have been a dicey situation. Dragon going to be started up here. Yeah, Roodood. I mean, with both of these teams, right? I mean, Red and Furia, they both have a mid-game clanger in them. They both got a absolutely horrible draft in them. Red a little more so than Furia. True Shot Barrage goes in, thins out IU just a little bit. Can Red find a way to get into this pit?
I mean, look at the mid lane as well. Gigo has roamed down, so he might even fire his ulti off, get back up to that top lane in time for the next wave. Instead, if he's got the time to walk there, he can do.
Ooh. Scout of the week landed over the wall for Kaze, signaling the solar flare to go in, but after all that, will be nothing doing. IU, that was brave of you to take that path back, but he survives, so all good. Tatu had to burn his flash, but tried to flash for a dragon. That is feeling all right. Got themselves even. Still only a 1,500 gold lead, but again, that doesn't kind of represent just the issue that the sign is going to be just passively stacking his soul for. And you see 614 there on the bottom left of his portrait. So you got to add about 500 gold, make it up, right, to Furia's lead here. Oh.
Good connect here.
Yeah, Aqua Prison does land. Zenith Blade does not. Tidal Wave, that's a free hit there onto Frosty. TP coming in from Gigo, trying to get Curse down. Gets his ultimate off to dissuade any sort of further engage, but he does survive. So all's well that ends well. 80 carry quest complete here for Furia, as well as those are going to start coming in here for everybody in the next few minutes. Kaze still crucially has yet to get onto his first item. He's going to recall and only get that now at about the 13-minute mark.
I mean, that's not too bad here for the Red Canids. Gigo uses the big TP, this massive part of what you would expect the Scion to be able to do, and instead nets pretty much nothing from it. Maybe not even a summoner spell actually forced out of the Canids. So I don't think it's nothing here for Red, but Furia still absolutely in control of this one. 3,000 gold lead pretty much exclusively in that top jungle as Tatu spots one and second makes himself known, but it's all over this red buff that Furia have got a lot of people sniffing around.
Yeah, and Red have a couple of noses in there as well. To pick that up for Tatu. Solar Flare just gets the outside, but Frosty gonna flash EQ in. Gets a CC out of Tatu, but it's just too much. Able to go back out. Scout of the week doesn't really find much, but now he's got some backup here with Rebello. But here comes Gigo, and he's got a head full of steam. Red getting ripped apart. The wolf pack scattered to the four winds. Curse not able to get enough damage there onto Tuts to get one back. Kaze staying alive, but just barely. Throw some orbs down. Furia grab themselves 2 kills. Red get 1. Not done just yet here. Gigo, he's so big, Roodood. He's such an issue. He's just T-posing on them.
So it's a 2-for-1 here overall as Frosty and Curse both fall. I mean, Frosty there just absolutely losing his mind, it feels like. Solar Flare whiffs, and then he commits an even bigger engage himself, just sending his body on the line. And, you know the Gigo's nearby. You just saw him. It feels really disingenuous to think that you can go for that without sort of thinking that you're going to end up losing out more so than anything else. So very surprised to see that be the case, and very surprised that Red even went for that in the first place. But they lose out, and they'll hopefully learn from that mistake. I don't know.
Yeah, you hope so. And this certainly feeling like a little bit more of a favorable situation, but you got to execute this really quick here. Tuts just dancing on them. I mean, making Phase Rush look so broken.
Yeah, and then a Solar Flare just to keep them from chasing even further. There's no turret up here. Tatu was spotted, but going to get some good poke down, and we see why the Jace was pretty feared through the majority of this regular season. Tatu putting a pretty good dent into the HP bars there of Kaze.
No contest here on this Herald. Furia seem to have gotten control back in this one. A little bit of a slip over the last couple minutes. FNB starting to catch back up just a little bit here. Only down about 13 CS, 1 level. But Gigo still very much an issue. Roodood, it's got to come from the bot side. You were saying it. Rebello's got himself 2 kills. Are you feeling any better about Red's prospects?
So somehow slightly, but I don't think that it comes from Rebello necessarily. I think that it's the fact that FNB has managed to somewhat stabilize. He's only half a level behind. Like you say, about 13 CS down. We'll go back to base, pick up that Trinity Force. So, I mean, this side lane does eventually get better for the Gnar, right? You can go Blade of the Ruin King if you want to. You can go Black Cleaver, and you can handle the side lane quite effectively. But I'm left a little bit wanting from Furia here. It doesn't feel like they've got full control of this game, even though I know that they currently do, or should do, I should say.
Yeah, no, I think that's really it, right? It was this nightmare start for Red Canids, and then you look up and okay, 3,000 gold. You got yourself a dragon. You have a tower. You got the grubs, but and maybe it's just a feel thing where it doesn't feel like you said like they are as ahead as they are. I guess we'll see maybe a little bit more truth here as this dragon spawns. Red are the ones that have first purchase on it. Curse showing up here. Tags with wind becomes lightning. Blind-ish. Well, there goes the Farsight alteration. And just like that, they're going to peel off it. Not feeling good enough about things as it stands. The question is, do Furia go for it? And I think the answer is no. Red have just enough vision in that river.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing is that they've got the Herald here, and they've got 5 people sniffing around this mid lane. We can do some very real structural damage here, as Gigo does get spotted out on the side, and they take 2-3 plates. You can see the poke coming through as well from these Imperial mandated Corki rockets. All but 1 plate ends up falling. That's a lot of gold for Furia and a lot of poke damage that they can now leverage into going to the dragon. So they were never, scared of going for it. It just felt like they could get more from it.
Yeah, I think your read was spot on. Yeah, and now they just turn their attention right back, put the pressure down. Maybe would have liked to have seen them just rip it kind of immediately upon dropping the Herald, right? Leave someone to answer there and start taking down that dragon, but don't feel like they have enough damage quite yet. But once Tuts and I finish up their tier items, then I think you're going to start to see a little bit more worrying things in the team fights or Red Canids. That's like going to be a ton of damage that comes through for 2 of the carries here. I mean, it's a 4-headed monster for Furia. I think that's kind of the other thing is any one of these champions can take over the game. Taking down, you take down Gigo, congratulations. There is so much damage coming through the other 3 champions.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. It's exactly that, right? All of the gold was put into Gigo, congrats, but what actually Furia did was they rotated this Scion away from getting too much gold himself and put it all into Tuts. He walked up, took the actual first brick in that top lane. He's just now taken this gold in the mid lane as well, in the bot lane as well. I think that IU's probably going to claim or lay claim to the mid lane turret when that ends up falling, but wouldn't be surprised to see Tuts able to really start to leverage this advantage in the side lane. He's been dancing on not just Kaze, but Frosty as well. So let's see if he can do it a little bit more. I know Tuts has been not even a controversial figure in terms of his performance, but just not being ever that top 1 premier mid laner. But a series like this up against Kaze, and we can start to maybe try and change that narrative.
Certainly. Curse is hit by the tidal wave in from the wings as Jojo gets locked up immediately just to bail out the rest of Red Canids. And somehow it is just enough, but man, did they blow a lot of resources to keep themselves safe from that. Kaze almost lands a scout of the week there from over the wall. But a ward down into the Raptor Pit is going to help things out a little bit. Try to ward off any shenanigans or at least see it coming. 3rd tower of the game here for Furia. They've pushed the line of scrimmage completely back to the tier 2s.
Yeah, and that's really solid here. Obviously, Jojo forced to flash away from Kaze's scatter, but other than that, really solid performance once again in this mid lane. Furia extend that gold lead by about 1,000 in the last minute or so. Neither one of these 2 on screen actually contributing to that mid lane play, but good to see that they are still scrapping it out, dicing it up down in that bot side. 3 minutes on the next dragon. Baron is now live. I have to imagine that Furia are probably going to look to try and take Soul Point before they turn their attention to the big purple worm here. Their Baron take again, not the most amazing here. Rise and Corki can do decent, consistent DPS, but it's nothing quite like an Azir, like a Jinx.
Yeah, not quite. The big Seraphs has come in. Tuts only 6 stacks on the Roa, so not kind of up to raid boss Rise just yet. But the 2nd tier item has come through for IU. Big spike for him. Rebello ever so slightly ahead on that front. But yeah, I mean, getting Soul Point there, just kind of seizing control of the map in that way, right? Because you know that if you take that 3rd dragon in 5 minutes, you know exactly where the other team has to meet you. And that just gives you so much more control, knowledge, power, etc. Gigo still got 1 item, Roodood.
No, that's 2.
Kinda. Or sorry, F&B.
Oh, no, that is indeed 1. That is indeed 1. you know, maybe when he bases, he'll be buying a full Black Cleaver.
I hope so, man, because
Yeah, me too.
right now on the economy curve, you are behind the supports, my brother.
That's also very valid. I don't even know if he's going to get a second item, to be honest. Well, he's channeling his recall now, so let's find out. Tuts, can you dance once again?
He danced right back to dodge one ability and gets hit by another. Seraph's shield gets ripped right through. Shutdown here for Curse. Okay, so he got himself a Phage and a Ruby and a Kindle Gem, so he got himself something else. But Curse grabbed himself the Black Cleaver Rooted, and we kind of mentioned it a little bit early on, right? It's okay, it's probably going to be a first item, Black Cleaver for Curse to try to help out Gigo. End up being the second item. But that is absolutely huge, because then Rebello, once he gets to what I'm assuming, does build out of Caulfields? I don't think it does, right?
Everything builds out of Caulfields, man. It's futile to try and guess. If I had to put my hand on my heart and guess which one it is, I'd have no idea. You know, I'd be lost. There's so many things. Probably a Last Whisper item. Probably also, Gigo now in a little bit of trouble. I say that, and then I remember it's Gigo, and Syndra doesn't have ulti, so...
Yeah, and he's got a Tatu right behind him with so much flat pen into this team. Just going to, just at one shock blast, just changes the entire timbre of a fight. He's got himself the opportunity there as well. And on his way to the third item. Yeah, and I really feel like in these fights, I'm feeling the importance of the Scatter the Weak. It feels like if that lands, the fight just goes infinitely better for Red Canids. It is such an important ability.
Yeah, it's a big stun, and it can do, obviously, quite a lot of work if it connects and if it hits the targets as we would like them to. But equally, we know very well what happens when a Syndra doesn't have that scatter, when they don't have that impact. If you think of an Ari charm, just put on Syndra, you know? Like
essentially,
they have
right?
Such big cooldowns that provide safety, they provide threat, they provide damage. If it goes wide, the champion falls flat.
Yep. That's kind of how it goes. Dragon has spawned, and being able to do that from like half a screen away as well. It gives you so much in this composition that already has so much safety. Can give you even more. Tatu just gonna take this dragon by himself, flanked by a couple of his best friends. Make sure that no shenanigans are afoot. FNB gonna grab himself the first tower of the game for Red Canids. And he's certainly, like we said, he's certainly equalized things in some departments, and he's gotten that gold lead back down to under 1,000. And do you feel like this lane is starting to tip as far as just a 1v1 in the side lane? You know what I mean?
Maybe a little bit. That Black Cleaver is now finished.
It helps.
They are even in experience, but it's still probably going to be Scion favored until a third, fourth item maybe comes through. I mean, unless, of course, we simply dogpile said champion.
Yeah, Kaze got him.
Damage. Oh,
yeah,
we blew our full combo, and then he dealt 800 damage. Wow.
Yep, and then you got the shield right back. That's Scion, baby. Yeah, Kaze, I mean, you got the Blackfire Torch, and that's kind of the most thing doing any sort of heavy lifting here. IU in a lot of trouble. Gets over the wall backwards here, but Curse follows him. Tatu gets the damage down onto him. Keeps IU safe, but not enough. Shutdown goes over to Curse. There goes the Unleashed Power into the back of Tatu, so they get one back. Excuse me, 2 for 0. No, pardon me for Red Canids. Now Curse just barely alive on the outskirts of this fight. Going in, gets the healing up, and Rebello gonna grab himself a kill. Gigo keeping himself alive, but the rest of his teammates are falling by the wayside, Rude.
Yeah, and this is, maybe what we were a little bit fearful for here. If Gigo's not there, the game isn't completely won. Gigo had to TP in, he comes around the long ways, and overall it's a 3 for 2, so not dire straits for Furia. But they definitely wouldn't want to be losing out in really any situation where Gigo shows up. Really good to see that actually Red aren't happy to go down without this fight. Curse with a great flash dodges the bubble. And I think that he's going to get out to safety. You have to say Tatu here, maybe selling his AD carry out a little bit with that shove. But Kaze comes in, one rams the Jace, like that wasn't even close. And then Gigo as well. So much tankiness, but in the face of 4 people, you can definitely take damage very quickly.
Well. All right, Red might not be dead just yet. And Roodood, I mean...
all over for the crying.
Yep, go back into see Talkers and the rest of the coaching staff there, him and BLZ, and the rest of the squad. Yeah, Gigo, I mean, he just makes such a difference. Tatu's got himself his third item here. FNB just playing that range very nicely. Yeah, and he's able to trade right back, right? I mean, with between the Trinity Force and the Black Cleaver, it's two kind of meager items, but man, they can do so much. Flash Scatter the Weak. That is, I mean, wow, a lot of resources invested there to take down Tuts. And now they've got their attention turned. Maybe.
Yeah, they can do that. No, they can do this because if Gigo shows bot side, then they've got a 3 versus 4 on the top side with TP available on FNB. I think, Red, this could be time.
Or maybe they're just trying to bait, but Frosty gets half his health bar taken away in the blink of an eye. They're not going to commit towards it.
I think that they need to play a little bit better. Oh, not that's absolutely brutal to just rip on them, but low-key, kind of true. Like, play like you've got the advantage that you have here. You could have either gone there, attacked the Baron, forced them in, taken a fight, used your TP from FNB to turn the tides of it, make it 5 versus 3, or you go up there, you see Gigo walk up to that top side. As soon as he does that, you get gold onto FNB. Your goal there is never to actually get the Baron if Gigo responds. If Gigo doesn't respond, I think he's, you're 100% giving up that Baron. So, I mean, I think that that's a pretty good situation for Red to have found themselves in, that they've sort of left in the lurch there.
Man, Frosty, fear is not in his dictionary. Man, he's just facing up that Scion. He knows he's got the help behind him, but I mean, it's still quite the daunting prospect. Kaze, I'm waiting for him to get that big third item, man, because right now he's doing just absolutely jack to this Scion. And someone still will have to deal with it, right? For all that Red have turned the momentum around, you kind of pointed out in the last fight, when Gigo's there, the timbre of the fight changes completely. It's so difficult to shred through him and then deal with the rest of the carries, because the rest of the carries are relatively squishy. Rise is going to get a little bit tougher to deal with, but like there's no resistances. It's just health at the end of the day, right? It's just a matter of time as it takes down. Gigo, this is kind of this is correlation, not causation. Well, I mean, no, you tell me. 100% KP for Gigo. He has been literally everywhere for you have found success.
Yeah, and I'd honestly say causation in that case, because he was the one that dumpstered FNB in the laning phase. So I'm not against that, as we can see some good amount of poke coming through. The Corky Rockets on top of the Jace poke as well, but stun lands onto Gigo. He presses W, absorbs a little bit more HP, and
jeez,
there's this soul here as well for Furia if they can get it, but FNB's popped a little bit early. So now as Furia, you just have to wait for this Meganar to run out. That big team fight not going to be ready, and then from there, hopefully the team fight gets better. Red are in the God, Rebello.
That made me so nervous, man. I mean, he has flash, he's got barrier, assume he's got arcane shift up as well.
Okay,
starting to deal damage to this dragon. Gigo started the recall, thought the better of it. Feels like a big fight here coming up. Tidal wave in, so is Gigo. Curtain call, or excuse me, the Xinjiao ultimate pop there, and the dragon will go over to the side of Red Canids. They ward off Soul, they grab themselves a couple kills on the back, and the Realm Warp is the escape hatch that Furia fall through. 2 for 0, and Red sneak the dragon out, and now they can certainly do this.
Yep. This is maybe my prediction falling flat on its face here, 4x4, as the Red Canids have turned their attention to this big purple worm. They've got a lot in their back pocket to take it, and as well as all of that, Tartu is dead for another 20 seconds. It is going to be the dragon plus the Baron for Red. They deny the soul, and honestly, maybe to their own detriment, if I'm being completely honest with you, because in 5 minutes' time, I see them being able to take the next dragon. If that was an Elder spawning, I don't think Cloud Soul is changing the tides of this game that much.
When you put it that way, yeah, there'll certainly be a larger fish to fry on the back end and really be that kind of game sealing objective. But as it stands, Red Canid have their first lead of the game. And man, if you would have told me, I mean, I know you're exaggerating like a little bit, but it certainly felt really doomed when you let a champion like the Scion just get as out of control as it did in the early game. You have to give Red immense credit for stabilizing, and FNB especially, because we have seen FNB and Gigo, to be fair, but we have seen FNB when he goes down early, it gets really ugly for him sometimes. But he's stabilized 0-3. All three of those deaths were up in the top lane in the first 10 minutes. And since then, 0-1. You love to see it.
And he's a level and a half up over Gigo now, 50 CS lead as well. Like,
that's crazy.
in the side lane, he's going to tear him apart. You can see Red now able
yeah.
to lay waste to this tier 2 turret down on the bot side. They'll maybe work their way through into tier 3 as well if Furrier aren't willing to contest them for it. FNB has teleport, so it doesn't really matter that he's pushing in the mid lane, and you can see Kaze doing a good amount of work. What are you doing?
Holy moly, valking forward like that is crazy. And now 3 members of Furia down to 3/5 HP. Just a brutal let right there. Unstoppable Force finds nothing. FNB just sidesteps it. Red are going to get this tower and then some.
Yeah, I mean, the power of cannon minions in this season, especially with Baron, you can see they do so much work to those structures. Like 3 of them backed up. If I'm Red, I let them do all of the hard work here. You don't need to push yourself too far forward. But look, they're just slowly whittling away. Every auto attack, they take probably a 1/7 of the HP.
Oh, Tuts pops the stopwatch. That's huge. To get that pulled away from him, Ayu going to eat an unleashed power. Frosty almost finds the Zenith Blade. So they get the inhib, and now they're going to start laying siege to that bottom Nexus tower.
3 cannons mid lane as well, as they can start to try and take down this inhibitor turret as well.
Man.
They've not quite got the defender's advantage here, so they are looking at regen HP bars from the fountain. They're going to get chased away here by Furia, but they do take down 2 turrets, 1 inhibitor. This TP in here, probably not going to secure them anything. 2 minutes left on the soul spawning, but Blue Ward goes in, spots out where they are. Furia caught with their hands between their legs a little bit here, not really finding what they wanted.
Oof. 2 recalls do go off here. Yeah, Gigo not willing to pop the Unstoppable Onslaught or anything like that. Kazi's finally got that big 3rd item in. It is that Void Staff. Going to help start shredding through, because there is a little bit more MR coming through here for Gigo. I guess it really is just the Jack show, to be fair. But, yeah. Or no, the Hollow Radiance.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Good mix.
But, yeah, very healthy. Rebello got himself the swirly Endless Hunger. That's the name of the item.
Yeah. No, it's the swirly. Don't worry.
It's the big
now.
ready.
I've never heard it called that. I'm calling it that exclusively from now on.
Got himself a huge 4th item. I mean, on an Ezreal as well. And I think Roodood, something I wanted to point out, I feel like it was exaggerated in the siege, as it obviously would, but the range advantage that Red Canids can play with here, it's just Tatu that can equalize that in terms of the poke and what he's able to throw out. But we haven't seen like a truly meaningful shock blast, it feels like, in a little bit.
And it's a product of the fact that he's been fallen down. Now we'll see Gigo. How tanky are you?
Oh, okay, there's one.
There's one. Is it truly meaningful though? Rebello's got this endless hunger, so the swirly will be swirling on him, giving him a little bit more health back. I mean, there you go.
Famously.
Back to full HP. There you go.
Yeah.
The swirly do what swirly does.
Hey, it do be swirling, for better or for worse. Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, just in terms of engaging, in terms of like getting, yeah, I mean, it's how do Furia start a fight? Tidal Wave or Kamikaze Scion, right?
Yeah, it's Gigo running through the front door at full pelt. That's their best engage.
Just Kool-Aid Manning through the wall.
Genuinely, and that's what he has to do. And the sad thing is that if he does that, Frosty's just going to tank it, and then they'll probably nothing happens, or the fight doesn't go their way, whatever it ends up being. As we do end up seeing the Dragon picked up for Red, so it's a 7 Drake game. The momentum now completely in their favor. They're the ones with a 4K gold lead, and usually I try 4x4 to be the singer of praises of Cloud Dragon and the powers that they give you, but I'm looking across the board for even just slows on Furia, and I've got Nami E and Rise Unempowered W as the power that's giving you. Like, great, you get a little bit of resistance from that. We're on 10% right now, or 5x2 multiplicative, so whatever that ends up being. And then, the power when you ulti, sure, Kazi's going to get an extra burst of movement speed. Brother's already flying at the speed of light with Ghost anyway. FNB wants to stand still while he casts his ulti and casts his W and all that sort of stuff, so... great.
Rebello, the less movement, the better. It makes it easier to hit everything.
yeah, that's true. Is Talty fine?
Frosty.
He is. Okay. Realm Warp. Goodbye.
Woof. Yeah.
Good call.
Where'd it go wrong for Furia, in your opinion? What happened? Was it not capitalizing on the early lead of the Scion? Was it team fight foibles? Where do you kind of put it down?
it was that moment where they took a really bad team fight, and then they lost all of their lead. For like, to put it bluntly, I mean, they fought without Gigo, and actually, this is the really good thing: is that Red actually came back and won this game. I mean, they've not won it yet, but Red came back and fought for this game, where it was around the bot side, those Raptors, and they just sought after targets that weren't Gigo. It's almost the Dr. Mundo treatment, right? Ignore the tank and carry on with the rest of your days. Interested to see what Gigo's going for third here, or fourth, as he's got a tunneler in his inventory right about now. So maybe is the blood mail, the health equals...
Ooh, could be overlooked
AD
blood mail.
item?
I
Could be
think
really
that might
funny.
build out a tunneler, yeah.
Feels like it should do.
It definitely does, yeah. Yeah, you do see it on Scion. The Titanic Hydra build out of that?
Nah, surely not. I say that as an AD carry player. I've never built any of these items in my life. But based on vibes, probably not.
I don't think so either. FNB, and what a turnaround in game for him, man. If you would have told me he at any point was up 2,500 gold in this game, I would have thought, oh, okay, so they just disconnected Gigo's monitor. They just EMP'd one side of the studio.
And this is now what they needed to be doing. This is what I was hoping for them to do a little bit earlier on, where they try and force using TPs, but the Baron's at 4k already.
Oh, man, and Kaze just gets the scatter the weak down, deletes the Nami, flashes over the wall, stopwatch popped, Tuts goes in, Tuts goes right back out, the Baron's dead, and this looks really, really dire here for Furia. Over the wall goes FNB, surprise, it's a trampoline party at my house, everyone is invited, but there will be blood, there will be twisted ankles, there will be an ambulance called. Gigo, all he can do is watch. Again, you fight without Gigo, you're gonna have problems, but you have to give Red Canids credit, like you said, Roodood. They forced and baited that fight beautifully, and it's so much easier, obviously, with a lead than to do it when we were calling them for them to do it. The window's so much bigger here. But, I mean, like, look at this. Like, they finally got to the point where once you hit that fourth item, Gigo's not an issue anymore. And the rest of Red Canids are up 2-0 now in this series as they rip through Furia's base. They find themselves here, Roodood, one win away from a rematch in the finals with Loud.
Yeah, and somewhere off in the Canadian lands, RMC is sat grinning right now. He predicted a 3-0. He said that Red would be in this position, and
wow,
so far he is looking so good on that predict. Red turning game 2 around is something that we would have not anticipated. Furia should have snowballed this to a 1-1, forcing us to a decently sized series instead. We have found the complete opposite. Red find themselves at match point and looking to hopefully take a game up against Loud just tomorrow.
When Red look like this, man, I mean, they do look like the best team in Brazil. I mean, able to withstand a ton of adversity in the early game. Kaze playing so well, hitting scat of the week after scat of the week, and just dancing. I mean, with the ghost as well, right? I mean, and the cosmic drive, just zooming around. You can't catch this stupid little Syndra. It just pushes one button. How hard can it be? Just get rid of this stupid champion. But then Rebello as well, having a really good game. FNB, huge hats off to him, man. Withstanding the early game pressure, he just got the you-know-what camped out of him. And ended up being an absolutely crucial part of this Red Canids win. What a team win by them, man. And now Furia, they got to ask themselves some tough questions. Because they're 1 win away from their season being over. Not the longest offseason between kickoff and split one, it has to be said. But that rematch is looming very, very large. Roodood, I ask you, what's got to change here for Furia? Because this looked, I mean, this is as good a chance as they were going to get.
Yeah, Tartu on something active, I think, is their best bet, right? Like, he did so much work on the Jace early, but he wasn't able to carry the team in the way that we've seen Tartu do that. The way Furia win is they carry through Tartu early, who pays it forward to their carries. This time around, he put money into himself, which didn't end up netting them this sizable advantage that you know that they need. So I think that's their go-to. That's what they have to try and fix, really, moving through the remainder of the game. But they've only got one more to do sort of successful things in. And if they fail once more, then it is just over.
The window is closing. Let's see if Furia have anything to say about it slamming shut on their fingers, or if Red Canids will in fact do that and break a couple of their bones. Send it to a game 4 before Red just send it home. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Red on the precipice of a 3-0. We'll be right back.
To hold our heads up high and beat the drum to what we love. Risk the fall, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of the world that we defy. A solo ride of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light.
Oh no,
Like
4x4 just made a really good old school RuneScape reference, and now nobody's gonna know what it was. And I'm genuinely not kidding. I'm genuinely not kidding.
I'm gonna repeat it. Like a newbie adventurer not knowing the dangers that lie on the southwest entrance to Varrock. The circle of dark wizards waiting clad in black to stun you, to make your day much more difficult, to make your life and your journey much more ruinous. It's not for you. It's Red Canids. They have come out of nowhere and kind of put Furia down here. Unless you ask RMC, of course, who predicted a 3-0. I did not have this on my bingo card, Roodood, especially after the way the game 2 started. Red, this is a flawed team. They're as good as any in Brazil, but they're both very flawed teams. And I think we're seeing both those flaws, to be fair. But Furia, they're just not at it today.
They aren't. And I think that ultimately that's what we're looking for in the... they're not meeting the expectations here, are Furia. And we need to see them do that, otherwise they're going home. And that's the very sad possibility of this game here, as we hopped in very quickly and they have just absolutely sent a Skarner pick for Tatu. He had his time in the sun, getting to play Jace. He's been relinquished of his duties. He is back to tank jungle and let the team carry.
Yeah, which is famously the opposite of what you said you wanted, and especially on this Skarner, which I'm very. Have we seen Skarner in China? Is there something I'm missing?
Monkey plays it, so one guy's hot on the Skarner train, but nobody else.
There's a guy named Monkey in the LPL. Shout out to Monkey. That's cool. And Kaze going to be on the Galio this time around. But Gigo's got himself the Rumble. So look, you've got yourself, okay setup for the Rumble. Bard going to be graduated by Frosty. He could do some wondrous things on this champion. Bard is... Amumu's always my boy, but my favorite champion to play is Bard. I love this stupid little champion so much.
I had I might have told you this, but this is Roodood lore. Before I became Roodood, I had my IGN was Souls and Chimes because I used to play Thresh and Bard. I was a Thresh and Bard 2-trick, and I just walk around and collect the things.
Oh, yeah. We love a little side quest.
Yeah, and I really do. This is not the MF lock that I think that IU thinks it is. Because I see already at least one tank, one mid laner that I don't want to play into when I'm playing Misfortune. And notably as well, I see 3 people who can cancel my ulti relatively easily. So IU is aware of something that I am not. And I'm curious to see if it's victory speeches or if it's I just want this game to be over with. Send me to the Americas,
I am very surprised at the MF lock. I mean, the eyebrows always go up when you lock that champion in. But clearly Leona's off the table. I'm thinking of, okay, what big CC can you use to set up, right? Some sort of peel, right? You need peel and you need lockdown, especially if you want Gigo to get maximum value out of his ultimate as well, right? You need setup for both of these champions. And if the other side, if you had drafted, I don't know, Pantheon Galio for those 2 champs, you would have said, okay, maybe there's a little bit more you could do here, right? After the taunt lands, you could do something. After that point and click stun lands, maybe you could do something here, right? Aegis Assault up, prevent any sort of shenanigans. Rel going to be banned away, and that actually, talk about champions that could knit this together. Rel is one of them.
Okay, now there's one more that can pair in quite nicely here, and it's Renata. Renata ulti is really hilarious, alongside both Skarner and Misfortune. Skarner MF is a wombo combo, very nice, right? You suppress 3 people, they all get caught in a bullet time, happy days. You then, by the time that the Renata ultis, then they're all sat hitting one another, equally funny. And they've just got bullet time raining down on them the whole time. It could be the amazing wombo combo for Furia here. But up against a Bard, I don't know how that matchup looks. Expectation is that you're probably going to just throw spells and not really have an either-sided advantage. But it's also pretty good versus Galio versus Pantheon. I'm not against a Renata pick here for Furia. Likelihood is that we don't see it. I think it's a little bit too fringe and maybe a little bit too geared toward the Kalista lane itself.
Yeah, I mean, Furia's certainly looking like they're pulling out a bunch of the stops to try to get this win. This is a high-risk strategy, but look, you got your back against the wall. You can't be mad at it. It will be Silas and Alistar picked up here. Silas, he's got some amazing ultimates to pick up here, to be fair.
Got some juicers. I mean, they're waiting to see what they want to pick for AD carry right now. Like this, we just flex the Galio to top lane.
It's a great answer to the Rumble. We then put Silas into the mid lane. Blind, sure, not bothered.
Yeah.
I mean, it could probably even answer the top side as well. So it just
Mhm.
means what are we looking to find in terms of our AD carry pick? Has to be something that hits hard and hits fast, because they have no AD damage right now. The Pantheon, yeah, pretty good, but nothing that's
Yeah.
going to bring the house down.
No, but you know what will huff and puff and bring the house down is a jinx if that goes over. And indeed, yeah, this is now we're pod racing, baby. This is good stuff from Red.
This feels really good to look at, right? Like their composition is rounded out very nicely. I don't know that Jinx itself fits in nicely with this composition, just given the fact that they're pretty much 4 divers plus a Jinx, so maybe Mega Inferno or Super Mega Death Rocket can be good in that case. But this does mean that Furia do get the old school counter. Cassio, typically a pretty good pick into the Silas. So we'll see whether or not Tuts can continue to do the dancing that he was kind of doing in the early stages of last game on this Rise, on this Cassio this time though. Or if it can be red. Furia wants him to not match up for like well, and they are going back to 45. Without too much feel, it was
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you've got like a headbutt, right? But yeah, this
One
is
person.
it's a, for Furia. This is a very high octane composition though. Like if this gets rolling, you've got you've got too much damage. I might add. It is so much to work with. But is the setup enough? Are they going to be able to snowball this effectively? Because we talked about that with Furia, right? I mean, if you get some sort of advantage in these lanes, what are you doing with it? And again, I'm looking especially at Gigo, and it's not like he has, he doesn't have priors for this. He dumpstered the lane early on. Him and Tatu linked up very nicely in game 2 of this series, and then nothing. FNB was allowed to get back into it and play the game out in a much more sustainable way. Red Canids right now up 2-0, sending Furia home. And then just, you got to get back up next week and play against either Cloud9, Sentinels, or Lion coming in from the LCS, which, I mean, we kind of joked about it, like, off air. I think it was me and, RMC before the game yesterday. It would be kind of funny if, like, Red and Furia were the two teams who sent to Americas, because I think those are our two strongest teams. And, we have a really good America's Cup show, and we sacrifice Loud to go up there and just get absolutely mondo blasted by whoever's coming out of the other regions. And maybe they won't. Look, maybe I'm selling Loud short here, but Shino, I hope Shino just doesn't get, like, embarrassed, and then, like, it's just like, oh, great, now he comes back and he has no confidence and all this. Like, but because he's such a treat to watch, man. I don't trust it for Loud yet. But I know I'm not alone in that respect. Roodood, Loud riding on this top lane right now. How do you see this bottom lane going though? Because another one that if IU can get ahead, obviously it's still misfortune. It's still just a ton of raw damage, and in terms of just early lane pressure, it's still a misfortune.
It is. However, it's playing alongside an Alistair. So level 1, it just gets bodied, which is a little bit sad. Obviously, the Jinx can outrange as well, so you can look for these rocket autos. Unfortunately, Rebello getting poorly spaced right here, as Jojo should never get 2 autos and a Q down in exchange for 2 autos. So, I mean, IU is just literally checking with the skills and apparently winning. So we'll see if that continues. Good to see in the mid lane as well. Tuts took his E level 1, trying to land Q on Silas is going to be pretty impossible throughout, honestly, all of the game. But with the mana pool being a pretty big problem for Cassio, need to make sure that you're not whittling away all of that, because we know the Silas is just going to be able to sustain it back up.
Yep. With the Conqueror as well for both these champions in the late game. That's how they want to operate. Rebello and Frosty getting the shove here early on. Putting down a shrine over there. Is it the Cafe Cuties bard skin? That looked like a latte, but that doesn't look like a Cafe Cutie.
I think that's Bard.
No, that's not base bard.
No, Bard. No, as in there's a skin.
Oh, Bard. No, that is a skin. You're right. It's called Bard. No, I forgot about that. Yeah. No, I think actually you might be right there.
Or unless there's like a new age Bard skin that the two former Bard
maybe he's got a chroma.
Don't know, then that's
true.
really sad.
FNB, meanwhile, on the top side, go in the Dorn's ring early on here. Obviously playing that Silas or the Galio into into the Rumble. A very classic counter. Not going amazingly
Theoretical.
so far here, but yeah.
Yeah, in theory, it's a counter. FNB looks like he's getting given the business up there right now, which is
A little bit.
reminiscent of Game 2. However, that didn't particularly matter last time around.
No, it did not. He's trading all right here. But
Ego's
yeah,
gonna hit level 4
but again,
soon.
but into the Rumble lane, you just want to neutralize, right? If you can get out of there, even maybe 1 kill down at most, you think, okay, more or less have done our job. Because I mean, this game should be decided in the team fights. I mean, there's, and especially if you're red, right? If you can just let these lanes not get out of control, for me, I feel much more confident in red's ability to team fight. Not a lot of range on the side of Furia either, aside from the bullet time. I mean, the bullet time and equalizer, yeah, okay, you can throw those in from kind of a screen away, but passing those two, the range really not a lot here. And again, Kaze, just so many insane ultimates to choose from.
I'm enjoying this bot side scuffle. You're quite right. Like the Silas taking away pretty much any ulti here feels pretty good. I mean, you take away Alistair ulti pretty much every chance you get the opportunity to, just because 70% damage reduction, pretty good.
Yeah, you
for
just
a mage.
never die.
Especially with all the healing that it can do as well. But we're looking topside now for Gigo. Stun.
Ooh.
Well, that taunt would have landed. It doesn't look like Curse was looking to follow up. You know, last time round, game number 1, where we saw a really good gank onto the top side from Curse, it was he who led the charge, and FNB sort of reluctantly following. This time round, no, not going to be the same situation.
Not quite. A couple Dark Seals picked up for Gigo and Kaze on those first backs. Take that combat power advantage pretty early on here. FNB with the phase rush, does that inform at all how you think he's going to build, or does that really not have much bearing on it?
For phase rush on FNB, no. Probably going to be the same thing that most Gallios go for, where you go for a little bit of tankiness to begin with. If you're feeling spicy, we can chuck a Proto Belt in there, maybe a Rift Maker as well, but
Yeah.
nothing too exciting necessarily. You just want to build MR this game. I don't really think you even care if Misfortune hits you. She deals with high HP tank champions so poorly that you can just go like double MR items and feel pretty good about your life.
Yeah. Yeah, double MR, Rift Maker, or maybe just a Jack show on the back end to play out those more extended fights. But yeah, no, I think you're right. You know who your targets are. Tuts is the one that is going to really cause you trouble at the end of the day. Gigo, yeah, once he gets the lane injuries going, potentially another burn item in there if you would like as well. But right now in the bottom lane, and then across the board, it's looking good for Furia, but no crazy advantages to write home about. First dragon has spawned here. Grub's going to be up in another couple minutes. Rebello finds his way back to lane, and no vision posted up here by the dragon just yet on either side.
No, but again, for Redkin, they're the ones that are, I think, this time around quite happy to just sit and wait. They're going to have a good tank out of the top side. They're going to have decent fighters out of that mid lane, and they're looking for Tuts now as well.
And they go with the magical journey curse, flash stuns. Kaze gonna grab himself the silent that Alistar ultimate. FNB coming over the top with the hero's entrance. Just like that, it's all over. Curse, not a ton of health, potentially help out Frosty. Able to flash away, gets the stun down, goes right back in. Rebello's here to help. Is that enough? Headbutt, or Pulverize, comes in for Jojo. Chain's not going to land for Kaze, making it rain to ward off a little bit of anything else. Still no kills for either side. FNB get a little bit of damage here onto Tuts. Pushes him right back here with the Justice Punch. That is very close. That is a lot more damage than I thought FNB was going to do.
And Gigo just wasn't a part of any of this. He pushed the wave in, then recalled. He equalized it as well. You might actually find Kaze to burn this Alistair ulti here. He might be able to kill him through it, I'm going to be honest.
Ooh, has to burn the flash. That's a fair trade.
I don't know what that was bad from Kaze. I'm gonna be honest. That was really greedy. He just keep hold of the ult, which means he might be able to get an all in a little bit of time here, but very aggressive with that positioning and definitely worth losing his flash for.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can punish it. Pretty much everyone else lost their flash, it seems like. I mean, Ayu and Rebello have kept theirs, but other than that, most everybody is down their flash. So after all that, resources kind of burned everywhere on both sides here. Scuttlecrab picked up here on the bottom side. Grub's spawning in just a little bit here. We'll see who's able to get that first purchase. Ayu and Jojo certainly seems like they've had the push here early on. Level 6, not a huge spike for Rebello, but for Ayu, you can do a lot more with that bullet time should they get a Pulverize off. Let's get another look at this. Start off with Envy and Frosty, or excuse me, with Curse and Frosty, looked like a pretty good get here. And again, you got the Alistar ultimate, you got help over the top, but Gigo and Tuts, or Jojo and Tuts, they played it well.
Yeah. I mean, for me, this just feels confusing. Red don't. I mean, if they spot a play, it's not bad to go for it, but they don't need to. They're kind of looking for things that aren't necessary, and it costs them more than they earned, which is obviously not the ideal situation. So I would like to have seen them maybe just play a little bit more slow, but they're going to try and do something mid again.
Similar sort of idea. Super Mega Death Rocket finds its mark, and Frosty going to pick up first blood. Pops the Magical Journey there, able to get someone out of trouble. Curse down Tatu, takes an absolutely huge bite out of him. Yeah, NT. Yeah, if he hit that clip on the side, that would have been absolutely legendary. But Tatu instead going to walk away with a double kill. Furia getting themselves a much needed lead here early.
Again, they don't need to do these things, and they simply are. It's costing them very dearly here, which is not good. This is going to give the Cassio a chance to start running away with things. It's giving space for the Misfortune to generate more and more of an advantage. Yeah, MF's going to win early. Boo-hoo. Like, that's going to happen. And now they're looking for Ayu again down on the spot side, but Jojo's here.
There goes the bullet time.
Ooh, didn't think he
set up by the Make It Rain. Got pretty good value out of that, it must be said.
They did. Rebello burned his summoner spell there where he absolutely didn't need to. I mean, he took like 1 or 2 ticks less of the bullet time, but, you know, it gets out of the also not imminent danger. Still got Magical Journey here for Frosty, so he's absolutely fine to just try and play a bit of bait, trying to get through this wall as it's Curse trying to take down this dragon. And for Red here, again, just a little bit conscious that they don't need to do the things that they are up to. Tatu going to be working his way through the wall, and now he's just going to be able to take the dragon, you would think.
Tatu locked up here a little bit. Grabbed by his own ultimate. Kaze grabs him with his own ultimate. Curse, able to stay alive for just a little bit. Jinx is getting excited. She's got a shutdown. Now Red Canids can turn this one around. They just walk right through the equalizer. They don't have enough backup. FNB frontlining nicely, but Gigo cleaned up on the back end. Curse is a miracle he stayed alive for that long, if I'm being honest. It's a 2 for 2 at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this thinking, this was a good deal, honestly, for Red. The fact that they started that up and they got away with a 2 for 2 there. Rebello getting a couple of kills as well does feel really nice. I think he only picked up one of them, but a little bit missed here from Kaze as he does look for a 2-piece on the ulti, but Jojo's able to get out to safety there. They do find the shutdown onto the Skarner, and quick slam down from Curse on the Q, manages to make sure that he gets that kill. It's good that Tuts actually stands his ground and tries to turn back around here. Ayu and Gigo coming in from the bot side does mean that Rebello and Frosty have to back away, can't continue the DPS onto the Cassiopeia, who remains to be the leading source of damage as this game gets later. Any resources given to Tuts is going to be very much beneficial as this game gets later and later. He's 25 CS up over Silas. And again, this is that power of the counter pick that we get to see. You know, yes, Silas is really good versus Alistair, really good versus Rumble and the MF as well, but if he gets bodied in the laning phase, that's not ideal.
Yeah, it doesn't have quite that same, like, re-snowball potential as, hold on a second, Tatu gets the ultimate down. Or the Tempered Fate, buys Kaze a little bit of time, but really not going to be much. You had to throw it out there, see what you could get, but kill goes over to Tuts and Roodood. The ticking time bomb you were just talking about, and there's this gap in the mid lane that you referenced, only getting worse.
It is. The ticking time bomb almost feels like it's going to be going both ways as this Cassio is going to start to reign supreme. A Jinx is going to be able to do a similar thing as the game gets later, but it's currently the Cassio who has the gold, right? It's not the Jinx who's at that critical mass. Granted, Tuts isn't there yet, but he's well on his way as Rebello is now being forced off of minions down on that bot side. The good thing about Jinx is you 2 autos with rockets and you get the entire backline, and that alleviates a lot of threat. But it is going to be the first dragon of the game finally here picked up.
Ooh, just barely. That was closer than it needed to be, but Tatu able to walk away with it. I'm a little surprised it was the first one. The grubs were taken. Man, how about just the fall off of the grubs, man? I feel like we don't even mention that at all. It's just feels like it's a bit of a nothing burger in the big 2-6.
It is, unfortunately. But hey, whatever. These teams
whatever keeps bottom laners out of the top lane.
Genuinely, and that's the most important thing. Whatever makes it so my traditional lanes are traditional. Lo and behold, Australia lanes will never exist once again, thanks to the role quests.
Yep. Yeah, it seems to have solved that problem for now. But the whole lead for Furia on the back of Tuts right now. And consider like it was a bit of a rocky start, bit of a back and forth start. But now for they've got to kind of put their foot on the gas here because Red Canids, like you talked about, Rude, it hasn't gone as poorly for them as it could have when it seemed like they were biting off way more than they could chew. Um, I don't what's the next step here for Furia because like you said, look, you got a ticking time bomb kind of on both sides here, and I still do favor Red's composition that ever so slightly. Hang on a second here, Tempered Fate to disable the tower. That is gorgeous stuff from Frosty, going to send himself in with a magical journey, and Rebel's got himself another kill.
Yeah, and I mean the play for Furia, not too sure just yet, but the play for Red, get more gold into your Jinx. Really not against this, and now Tartu's looking for a response.
Yeah, he's got Jojo and Tuts coming in to help. Yeah, just trying to see if they could catch Rebello here. Not worth chasing that. I think everyone knows that.
It's a good ghost. Just actually genuinely a good ghost this time around. Gets him out of the range of the Skarner here, and Ayu may be in a little bit of trouble as well as Kaze. If he gets on Ayu, there's an ulti to follow.
Yep, there's the slice. Oh, hold on. Not the slice and dice, excuse me. The abscond and abduct. Marker's popped, flash popped as well. Surely he can just... One more should do it. There you go. The shutdown. No, he's going to get it right back. It's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good flash from Ayu. Dodged out on the first chain, which means that ultimately Kaze has to overcommit. He's very far behind in this game on the Silas. But yeah. I think that the beautiful thing is that he's playing this pick, which is going to have really large amounts of opportunity as we move a little bit later on into this game. And he's not the big ticket for this game, right? He's not the one who's going to need to carry. It's really all about Rebello. So as long as he can set up, that's what matters.
FNB should be all right here. Yeah. Headbutt pops him back into Flame Spitter range, but now FNB gonna have a little bit of help here in the form of Kaze. He, by hook or by crook, he's gonna get back in this game. Gosh dang it! Super Mega Death Rocket just barely clips JoJo, but he's got the unbreakable will on his side, and it does essentially nothing here. Yeah. Kaze grabbed himself the All-Star Ultimate as well. So Red punching back, very, very kind of calculated here from Red so far.
Which is nice. You know, it felt like this was going to be a little bit of a sloppy game, but so far they're answering in appropriate kinds, which is nice. Rebello's doing his best farmer impression, as now Frosty waiting, Tempered Fate ready.
Yeah, waiting there, yeah, like you said. The ultimate ready. Kaze going for the all-in here, has the All-Star Ultimate. It feels like he can take it, going to pop it there in response to the Equalizer. Ticks down a decent amount of his health, all things considered, actually.
Yeah.
But, yeah, wow. Yeah, if he didn't have that,
I would not have been close.
No, he would have been absolutely toast. That is crazy. Now, Gigo burning his flash. And Curse.
The bot side jungle as well. If they get Gigo, they're not going to get out for free. Yeah, Gigo might fall, but look at the fellas.
Oh my goodness, so many people are coming through, and Curse burns his flash for it as well. He says, you know what, I'll take one for the team here. Yeah, I think he's just, I mean, can he ult out? No, I don't think so.
Not anymore.
Not going to be enough here. Going to try to go down with a fight, but this one is settled here. It's just a matter of who gets the kill. Give it to Ayu. There you go. Now he's got himself his third kill.
Lane, though.
Yeah.
It's free time.
Rebello's just demolishing this tier 1.
And he has one cool stack left, so we already know that whether he tries to get out of here by just taking that plate and then the wave afterwards, all I know is that one minion is dying before he recalls, and it will be at his hand. There we go. There's the pop.
Yep.
So he's going to have, I mean, he must have a boatload of gold in his inventory right now. He's been farming for ages, had Kraken Slayer for a good while as well. Probably goes back, picks up. I don't know what Jinx is like these days. I've always been a Jinx Runans fan, always have been, always will be. But we'll see what it is for Rebello.
A lot of attack speed. I don't think I know does Runan still build out a Zeal? I would think it does.
It's pointless guessing Zeal items. They all build out of the same thing.
Yeah.
It is a Zeal and daggers, and that's it.
Yep. Ooh. All right. A lot of resources expended not to die there by Frosty. But does get himself out of trouble here. Furia going to grab themselves a Herald. Probably kind of try to break open this mid-tier 1. Yeah, Ayu was on the bottom side. He got first brick there for Furia. Bello will be fine here. The Equalizer was dropped down as well.
Yeah, he's managed to ghost out of some pretty big ticket ultis here. And I mean, I love this summon a spell on Marksman. You just have so much more maneuverability. FNB, really good, really wise to the weak side play here. Yeah, he's going to lose out on maybe his turret, but doesn't look like that's the full case. He'll be able to walk up, Q auto, and that backline does just fall. A little bit of free time for the crystallization to have grown up as well, so maybe an opportunity for that mid lane tier 1 to be closely following as this top lane is largely under siege.
Red, in response to the Herald, have taken the Dragon. Now looking to push this one back in their favor. Lead dwindling here for Furia. Red 1 game away from a finals rematch with Loud. Just as we, these are the two teams, Red and Loud. Or no, never mind. Forget I said anything. That's just simply false. FNB, gonna shove this wave in here. Yeah, I mean, look, again, we time is on the side of Red Canids here, but things have definitely stalled out in the mid game, waiting for that next big objective. I think both these teams know if the kills go on to the wrong carries here, it could be GG's.
It could, and that's the really, I guess, crucial part for both of these sides as well, right? If Tuts gets it, if Rebello gets it, that's a really big ticket to hopefully rooting success to either one of these sides, whoever it is that ends up picking it up. But it's the Phantom Dancer for Rebello, so much more geared toward being able to do consistent DPS to one target almost. So, if he's got the miniguns, he's going to do more damage to Tartu than if he had the Runans, but getting a little bit of extra movement speed in there as well does mean that up against, I mean, like triple melees, I do think that there's a really good option for Runans to be picked up. He's opted against it, and now we'll work towards, we hope, the Infinity Edge. I mean, right now, he didn't go Yuntal, so he sat on 25% crit chance, so he kind of needs to get that crit in nice and early here.
Yeah. Ooh, almost able to grab himself a Gigo or a Kaze or for a Curse. Yeah, just keeping him honest.
And that's all it is, If anything had been found there, excellent. The fact that it wasn't, does it hurt the game? No. 3 minutes left on the Dragon spawn, and there's nothing really else that is going to incite these teams toward violence, right? Maybe a Baron, but
unfortunately,
I think both of these teams are pretty cautious currently. Furia, because if they lose this game, then they're out. Red, because they don't really need to force this game to be too much quicker, I think.
No.
We talked a lot about Cassio and Jinx being these two big ticket carries. As far as who I favor in a team fight, in a pure 1v1, hypothetically, the Jinx does outrange, and with a Ghost as well, you can sidestep Cassio quite nicely. If you dodge those Qs, you will win. Yeah, no, and that really, it really kind of is that simple, right? If those Qs land, then it could just get so dicey. You just really start to take control of the space and the team fight. You force summoners, you force all sorts of nasty things here, right? And then the Ghost really isn't going to help you much against that. I mean, it'll help you dodge them initially, but if you get hit by a couple, and especially if that Rylai's comes through third item, like I think it might here, then it could get really dicey. And then dodging any more afterwards is even more difficult, right? Just due to the death sentence. Due to the slows, but Ayu has got an Infinity Edge now, so he's 2 full items picked up on the MF. Means that this bullet time will go crazy if it lands. Haven't really seen the full setup, right? Haven't seen that layering of Tartu ulti on top of the Equalizer, on top of the bullet time, but we already know that if that comes to fruition, if that does connect, the team fight is won for Furia, regardless of who's caught in it. And, they're sniffing around on this top side and trying to take down this tier 1 turret. Looks like that's been the sacrificial area of the map for the Red Canids. Kaze able to walk up a little bit, but you can see a lot of members of both sides actually sniffing around, and despite all of that, Tut still feels confident to walk up. He has a 3-level lead over Kaze right now, so there is no chance he can take that fight. Man, yeah, that advantage, it really is something else. I didn't think it was going to be that big. I'm glad you called my attention to it. He's just bodying him right now. But again, it's like, how much is that actually worth, right? You kind of brought it up earlier that Kaze, due to the nature of his champion, is going to have an outsized impact on this game, kind of no matter what, right? You steal the right ultimate, you press R at the right time, and all of a sudden, you can win a team fight for your team. It's a mini Malphite effect, right? I don't want to call it the Malphite effect because it's so synonymous with just that champion, and like it's so much more real with that champion. Because if Malphite ults you, you feel it. If the Silas gets into you, maybe it's impactful. Or when he's this far behind, what is much more likely is that he actually just sort of walks around a lot and you don't actually die, but you still have to deal with him. As we get a pause, unfortunately. I mean, there's still the counterplay available here, right? But for Red Canids, is the lack of setup for the big ticket ultimates worrying you at all, or has the effects? I feel like we haven't really seen a true
we haven't seen that true 5v5 yet. So I still have that question hanging over my head for Red Canids.
I mean, it's probably a product of the fact that we've not yet seen that 5v5, that we're not too sure how this one is going to play out. If they are able to execute and they get the Pantheon Galio diving in onto Tuts and he just crumbles, then amazing, right? Then the fight's just won. Rebello gets a reset and happy days. If it's the alternative and you see 3 people get caught by Skarner, MF, Rumble, then that's even worse. And it will come down to large amounts of execution, who's fast on the flashes, who's able to get into these positions appropriately and make sure that they aren't actually going down. As looks like we're feeling like we're back. I don't know. People are playing with their mouse and keyboard again, so I hope that we're about to get back into the action soon.
I'm jiggling everything to make sure everything still works okay. Yeah, we might be back here pretty soon. If not,
you looked like he was playing Evelyn, so maybe not. He was just spamming his Q button there a lot.
Yeah, just getting the spikes out.
Yeah, we were talking. I went to a friend's wedding recently, and we were talking about old League of Legends champions that we used to play. And old Evelyn came up, and that was a good little throwback down memory lane, because I don't really play too much anymore. I'm like, yeah, I still commentate this game for the fun. I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
Oh, Tempered Fate, not going to let Herald get anything here, but there's the combo they were looking for. Tatu getting a huge bite taken out of him, though. Curse with the Aegis Assault, able to mitigate some of that damage. Super Mega Death Rocket, not going to find Tatu. After all that, we just kind of take a deep breath, but the Herald negated there, Roodood.
It was negated, but I mean, that was a little bit too close for comfort there. I think that if that had gone well for Red, that could very well have been the thing that turned the game back in their favor. Now FNB flashed away already. Mountain Dragon is live, but I think there's a few too many HP bars. It's just a little bit too low here, and for Furia, they will secure this one themselves. I think it's really important they deny as many Mountain Dragons as possible, especially...
Yeah, it gets so bad.
Against Alistar, against Silas, who can steal Alistar ulti, against Galio. These Mountain Dragons will do a lot of work if they are put into the wrong hands.
Yeah, no, if those get rolling, especially if they just start stacking, the soul is one thing, right? But the stacking them on top of each other is another entirely. Furia, little by little, getting that lead you see there, but you got to take a look at that y-axis, because the top of that y-axis only reached 1,700 gold. These two teams have been neck and neck this whole game. Neither team has really taken any sort of lead that you can feel comfortable about.
And again,
and it feels like it's reflected in kind of the fact that Red are up 2-0, I think also plays into this, but the fact that both teams seem so hesitant. Okay.
Why did you go through?
That, yeah, you just right into certain death. Frosty, just because you can take it doesn't mean you have to. Rebello's doing his darndest to try to help out. He's going to eat an equalizer. Tut's on a killing spree. Not going to get any better for him. And now Furia, they are pouncing. The Panthers versus the Canids, the pack of them, take Curse very, very low. And now they got their sights set on a Baron potentially. Let's see what they do with it here with a jungler MIA for at least a little bit.
All right, Frosty, that was... If your team loses the Baron because of that, you got to hang your head in shame a little bit for this. But I do think that Red are going to try to contest this here. Kaze level 14 can maybe steal away a big ulti. You can see that they're snooping around. Jojo's got a big flank angle as well if they overcommit here.
Here comes the Grand Starfall, first big Pantheon ult of the game. He's going to go right back in. Who's going to grab that dragon? He's taken very low, and Tatu able to snag it away for Furia. But how does the rest of the fight go? The health bars are pretty low, and they're just ripping through FNB because he's got no backup. Rebello was out of mana and not able to do anything. Double kill for Tuts. It's a disaster. Furia break it open here at the 25-minute mark.
Yeah, Red go just a little bit too ham there. They feel like they can get just a little bit out of that one reset, and maybe Rebello goes crazy, but he doesn't have the mana, doesn't have the positioning to make his way through, and it does give Furia the Baron here. It was a 50-50 in the pit. I'm not sure if Curse died just before the Baron went down or just after, but he got in there. It was a sort of swinging around at 1,500 HP. That cut off that threshold that Pantheon can be stealing away objectives at. Either way, though, it's Furia that come out on top. So let's take a look at actually how close this one gets. I feel like the Pantheon is alive when it's within range. Q Smite there, he might have been able to secure it, but it's on the very edge. And if Rebello is walking up through this top side of this choke, it's again a completely different fight. Kaze just being a little bit too underleveled to get in there. He can't do anything. And I mean, the fight is effectively a 2 versus 5 and a 2v5 that they can't handle.
Here we go. Now this is Furia's opportunity here. They've got not a stranglehold, but they've got a pretty good hold on this game. right now. And certainly with Tuts getting stronger and stronger, you feel so good about your prospects heading into the late game here. FNB or Kaze, excuse me, and have some one-on-one time with that tower on the top side. So 3 towers as well for red. So their map positioning isn't horrible if they can survive this Baron push. And that's the big if. We talked about the strength of the cannon minions with the Baron buff as well. You should be able to get something meaningful out of this. You'd like to see them get an inhib, but Kaze, you see him lurking on the outside there. Everyone's ultimates are back up, so we're gonna get an even fight no matter what. Equalizer goes down. Gigo taken very low though. Kaze taken down as well. Tatu throws a rock over the wall, and that mid lane tier 2 goes down. Job done.
I think that's fine though. They burn Equalizer from Gigo, which means that any team fights that happen in the next minute or so going to be a lot more difficult for Furia to take convincingly. As long as Kaze gets to go back to base, I think he was trying to find a place to put a ward down. There's nothing behind for a TP flank particularly, but they'll get their HP back and maybe try and take a fight here with no ulti on the Rumble. They got Infinity Edge picked up for Rebello as well. So, I mean, this is, pretty dicey, but about as good as it gets.
Bloodletter's Curse finished up there for Gigo. He's got himself an NLR on top of that as well. Yeah, I'd say if you can go this without losing an inhibitor, I'd say that's a massive success. Gigo gonna try to make that their problem here in the mid lane. Oh, I say that, gonna let the minions do their thing. Just hover over there, yeah, clearing out any sort of vision, anything that Kaze could use, like you said, Roodood, to TP onto them, grab themselves a valuable ult and swing this fight. It can be so swingy. Tatu goes right in as the tower goes down, locked up and deleted is Cursed. Nothing he can do about that. Jojo coming in, providing extra CC for FNB, and the Impale almost gets another with Frosty, but there's the inhib. Job done.
Trying to find some damage onto Gigo here, but even still, Rebello wasted so much mana trying to get through the minions. He doesn't have enough to try and also continue that DPS onto Gigo. Inhibitor falls. They can retreat back to the luxury of another Mountain Dragon and put themselves up to Soul Point. Furia here, not all done just yet. 7k gold to the good. This series not completely over. Not just yet.
No, and if you're Furia, you got to be feeling really good about this. Not only for your abilities in this game, but as this goes on. I mean, this was we criticized the draft as we get a replay here of what went down. Curse just a little too far forward, and you got to give Tatu credit, I think, more than anybody for seeing that and pulling the trigger on the Skarner.
And this is kind of why we were saying, let's give Tatu something that he can sort of manipulate the game with, and it feels like this Skarner is one of those picks where he can find agency, he can find success and set up the plays for his team. This time around, it's really good to see that it's Tutsu's the one that they are giving the resources to that has been the recipient of so much gold, so much ability in this game, so much agency as well. If IU or Tuts do fall, that's 800 gold, 700 gold being picked up as far as the shutdown goes, but they've both been very safe so far. You can see the workings of a Guardian Angel for IU, these Stonyas in the inventory for Tuts, so it's going to be very difficult to even conceive of a way that they die.
That's exactly what you're looking for. I mean, Tuts, between Tuts and IU, and then Gigo just over the top right, and with the Bloodletter's Curse as well, with the Void Staff. How do those don't stack, right? Or do they? The Bloodletters with the Void Staff?
No, they'll stack together quite nicely. Okay. So Bloodletters removes the MR as a
removes
flat,
magic resist, and then it's magic penetration on the other side.
And then pen from the back end of it. So we'll see here. I mean, TP available for Tuts if they do want to try and hold fire in this top side. Obviously, no Baron does make this siege a little bit more difficult, and Rebello should be able to clear those out quite easily with just 1 or 2 autos on the rockets. You can see red, they're in a completely dark jungle. If you go any further forward, it's not making their life any easier. The question is, where do they want to make a stand? Because they can watch their turrets fall all they like. If they don't do anything about it, then the game will just end.
Yeah, eventually Furia will just overpower them. They will out-wallet them and out-map state them. Saw them kind of both playing chicken, hiding in one brush or another.
Okay, Frosty gets out, but Baron's up in 20 seconds time. Don't think any more recalls are going to get to come through, and the onslaught just doesn't end. For red, they're going to have to try and do something soon. Kaze with TP probably going to have to try and answer this. He's the best person able to answer these waves, has the wave clear to get through it quickly enough, and he did a good job at pushing that wave nice and deep earlier. Those super minions are going to very quickly lay waste to his structures. Now the Baron gets started as soon as he shows, and even if he TPs in front of them all, he's getting chunked out by the super minions right now. He's like half HP already.
Gigo and FNB going to get caught up in a 2v1 up there. Curse looking for a way into this, try to steal away the Baron, but he's going to get eaten alive by this equalizer. Half his HP just completely disappears. Rebello, if he can potentially get in here, he's got a shot, but FNB's too low. Not going to give Rebello enough time. The Impale not going to land those. A couple big ultimates down here for Furia, and the Baron back up to full HP. It was getting ripped through.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just sent the wrong people over there. I mean, I'm not even against the idea that Tuts and Ayu should have tried to finish that themselves. As long as they see Curse and know that he's not ulting in, I actually think they could have gone for a two-man finish there while Tartu and Gigo are doing the good work, trying to save the fight on that top side. Oh, no, this is not the fight.
Oh, man. Oh, this looks ugly. Curse. Yeah, might have gotten a pick there. Both frozen in time there, Tatu and Kaze, as they ult each other. Blast Cone out. Abscond onto the Scuttle Crab. FNB TP's in. But is it to his doom? Might not be. Tuts goes forward. He doesn't have his ultimate, but he does have damage.
They're on Rebello.
Grounded and not able to do anything is Curse. He goes down. Tuts in. Over the top of the bullet time is going to finish them off. Finally, the combo they were looking for. Furia get massive contributions from their misfortune. It was a gutsy call. It did not look good for them in the outset, but Furia might have won this one.
They have indeed. It took them 32 minutes to pull off the combo, and when they do, oh boy, does it come home. Kaze going to try and get some damage down, but his Nexus turrets are falling. His Nexus will fall shortly after, and Furia bite back.
We are going to a game 4. A front-to-back, really solid game here for Furia. Imperfect, gutsy draft. But with the lead that Tuts got, I feel like just, to me, it like you still had the Jinx question, right? But as much as you have the Jinx question looming over everything as kind of the guillotine, on the other side, right, the Damocles, the Cassiopeia was just as much. And for all that Red kind of got back into it, whenever Tuts was involved, you saw just the amount of damage he was able to put out. And once that Bloodletters came in as well, it was too much to overcome. And Furia picked fights where Red were a little disjointed. I think you saw, to me, kind of the encapsulation of the disparity there. Yes, look, they were up like 6,000 or 7,000 gold or whatever, but the Baron fight where Rebello wasn't able to get in and FNB just got lit up by himself, right? Furia were taking fights, or Red were putting themselves in bad positions where those fights weren't cohesive from Red. If they fight as 5, I think they could win a lot of those fights. But Furia did a good job of isolating different targets, and just, FNB didn't get to play actual tank. He was just a target dummy.
Yeah, if they get to play front to back and they get to play 5v5, absolutely. Opportunities all there for them. But, it's a sad thing for Red that they lost that game. They were ultimately outclassed pretty much throughout. And that's the power of counterpick. It's very rare that we get to see it, but that was an absolute demolition from Tuts in the mid lane there. He took the Cassiopeia and absolutely put the Sylas to task. Yes, the Sylas had a really good opportunity to do some big things with ultis. However, the more that game continued, the worse and worse that it got for him. I mean, just from the start, getting bodied in the laning phase, the Cassio really had a good time of things. And Rebello never got fully unlocked, never really found that success like he had done on the Jhin, for example, in game number 1.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get rolling, unfortunately. But look, Red, they still showed out okay, all things considered, in this one, but it just wasn't their day. At the end of the day, not like they got bowled over, but there's 2 games of data to suggest that they certainly think that they are the superior team. But Furia showing some fight and some pretty. And look, we talk about Tuts and kind of how he's the whipping boy for this team when things go wrong. What a game! What a game for him on this Cassiopeia. Absolutely took the most electric player in Brazil at times in Kaze to task. Really never let him get back into this one. And yeah, now we go to a game 4. So Furia is still on the edge of elimination, but we'll be right back and see if they can extend it one more game and send it to his silver scrapes, or if Red put the kibosh on it. We'll be right back.
One, two, three, come on, make it bounce.
Red Canids up 2-1 against Furia. Furia, they did take game 3. They look very good doing it. They've got the momentum on their side. Tatu got a little bit of agency. Look, we hadn't seen Skarner in basically this whole split in Brazil. I'm trying to think. Like you said, there's a man named Monkey who plays it in China. But but when the thing is, when Skarner was the menace of the meta a year and change ago, Tatu was demonic on that champion. I think this was maybe when you were gone, but holy moly! I mean, what he was able to do. But it's like you said, it's just that little bit of agency, right? He doesn't have to be the hard carry, but you give him something he can start fights. Like he's always so eager to start those fights, right? I think on things like the Xin Zhao and the Pantheon, right? He sees that window and he just goes right in, and the rest of everybody just follows Mr. Tatu. And on Skarner, it's worked out very, very well for him. I was a little worried, and the draft as a whole didn't give me any less pause, but hey, it all worked out, and they've got themselves in a really good position here, all things considered.
4x4, will you remind me of your prediction from the start of the series?
4-5, so I'm still alive.
Exactly. And in order to win a series 3-2, you have to lose 2 games. Okay.
Sure.
Furia, they just got those out of the way nice and early. That's all. This is clearly the reverse sweep. And this is Furia going to first stand, right? They're going to win here today. Mm-hmm. They watched the podcast, okay? They know deep down that they're all massive Roodood fans. And they needed to make my 3-2 prediction as true as possible. So they just chucked the first 2 games, and now they're going to come back in, la-di-da, simple as you like, pick up a 3-0 and carry on with the day.
It would be supremely tragic if they were to win here in reverse sweep fashion. We don't have many of those historically in the CBLOL. I think literally only 2 ever. I think, for sure 1, maybe 2. Anyway, and then you get up there and lose the Loud. If that was to be the case, that would be not even a collapse, because Loud they might be the truth. Who knows? I don't think they are, but they might be.
They could be the best team in the league. There's a little bit of X to doubt.
Yeah, a little bit of X to doubt, indeed. But look, but like Tatu was given the reins, and that was what you were calling for, Roodood. As we went into the previous game, you gave him the agency that he needed, and this team looks so good when they can just file in behind one another. When they get fragmented is when they look at their worst. But this team really, as far as the sum of their parts, I think that the difference between the individual levels and the sum of their parts and the synergistic effect, I think that delta for me with Furia is higher than any other teams. I do think Red individually they do have the skill advantage over a couple of lanes for Furia, but when this Furia team is clicking and they can just get in line behind somebody, they really, really shine.
Yeah, Tatu feels like a talisman almost for this Furia roster, right? Like he's not nearly old enough or fresh enough or like indoctrinated into the scene enough to be this veteran leader, but he does feel like somebody who the scene can rally behind as well. Oh, yeah. So it's definitely only just, it feels like the beginning of what is going to be a prosperous career for him in Brazil. And hopefully, if we're looking for bigger and better things from him, he'll need to be able to do these types of miracles where he leads his team back from the brink of an 0-2 and sends them to the finals of a CBLOL Cup.
Yep, he's already got a title to his name in Split 1 of last year, but a pretty epic collapse by Furia and everyone else involved at the end of last year.
Split 2.
I guess the middle split.
It was also Split 1 as well.
Yeah, I actually, to be fair, that might have been Split 2 and then we did Split 3. I actually don't remember, if I'm being honest with you, but yeah, the middle split.
The MSI split.
The MSI split, exactly. Yes, the fun one in the middle that can be very chaotic. All across the globe, we get some shenanigans in the middle of the year. What is that? 6 times 3, 6 times 5, 30 champions not available, and now make it 36 of the rest of the bands come through. Ash, Varus, and Jarvan, those have been the red side bands kind of throughout. Getting a little wonky here with a Poppy and Ivern ban for Furia on blue side, but Renekton slammed here for Gigo early on.
I do not know what Furia are cooking with an Ivern ban, but I am very excited. Because something is afoot, right? Like you must be so deep down in the jungle that you then have to go to Ivern as your answer. We're going back to 2025 top lane with Renekton versus Cassante here. We may end up seeing Kai'Sa Xayah if we want to go even back. Can we have Corki Azir in the mid lane?
Oh, Lord.
Genuinely, we can. How has Azir not been picked? I feel like that champion is OP. That's a Tut's pick right here.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not
I mean,
banned,
one of these
so-
two lanes. No, I mean, Tuts is nice on it. Ziggs! First Ziggs of the year in CBLOL.
Preemptive Azir counter. This is the go-to answer for Azirs when you've lost lots of other things from the mid lane pool. But I don't mind Ziggs here. Again, it's a flex pick. Rebello could take it. Kaze could take it. It's, again, Knight, actually, from the LPL has been playing this pick a lot. So we'll see whether or not it goes into the mid lane or if it takes what feels like a bit of a home in the bot side as Milio gets locked in alongside
Ooh.
Lucian. I kind of feel like they're a game late with this, but they may well not be $1 short as they find themselves a really nice pairing down in that bot lane.
I was going to say, where do you want to see the Ziggs go now? Does that inform your decision?
Not versus Lucian is my answer. Because
this lane can get out of control.
Yeah. And then he kills you on repeat very quickly. But I also think with Nautilus here, you can go for something that's maybe a little bit more aggressive. Like Caitlyn could do very well here. Like just something that you can lock down one individual target, do a load of damage, get out. You know, that's the hope, that's the prayer here. And I think that for Furia, obviously, they've got this very already mid-game skirmish composition. Renekton, Lucian, Milio is win early or don't win. And for the Canids, they've again got this element of we can slow it down, we can take our time. They're not bound by the necessity to close the game out.
Calling the bluff a little bit on the Canids, still banning the Zoe, still don't want to deal with that, regardless of what they've got cooked up. The Victor, that was another one I was kind of thinking of, like, okay, as we get in kind of game 4, Fearless, Azir, like you said, I was stunned when you said that hadn't been picked yet. But then Victor was kind of next rung down for me. With Orianna, Syndra being taken away already. Like we said, the Zoe ban there. We'll see where the Ziggs ends up going. Aatrox taken away from the jungle. Not going to let Tatu on that.
I kind of feel like you have to take maybe a Yone or something like that, but you can't really take that blind. Like, if you're not going to take the Ziggs mid lane, that is, and then have an AD carry down in that bot side, it really makes your life difficult. You have to go for an AD mid, or we could see something like Cursed Kindred, which is, you know, like a very fringe, very off the wall. You're probably not matching AP solo laner here, but you can see that Furia are not convinced. They are all in on the fact that no, this is a bot lane Ziggs.
Please don't. Oh god.
And it's niddly for Curse to either see us to silver scrapes or to see us to a game that Red will remember for probably the rest of their careers.
I don't know about this one.
So it's a denial in a way, right? Renekton Nidalee, a little bit of a denial.
Yeah.
But then what is the AD champion that rounds this Red Canid composition together? Which poke champion pairs up with Nidalee and Ziggs that isn't Corki or Ezreal, because they're both banned away?
Oh, is that right?
Can pair up. This isn't a poke champ.
Well, no, not a poke champ, but it's an AD
Yeah.
champ. I was thinking, okay, what AD champ can you throw in the mid lane? Still Tristana. We don't have AD mids, right? But like, maybe that could work. Zeri, man, if we get, I mean, that would be the first time for everything, I suppose. It'd be first time Ziggs, first time Nautilus, or first time Leona, or not Leona, Ziggs, and then wow, only second Nautilus. That's crazy.
I tip my hat to you for your Tristana prediction.
Thank you. Whether it's good or bad, I'm gonna kick that question to you. That's just what I thought was going to happen. Good or bad, that's your job.
Yeah, well, I'm leaning more toward the latter there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because maybe you can jump on Aurora, and I mean that's like the Aurora was an answer to the Tristana here. This isn't a counter pick by any means, but this is like the AD that ties the comp together that you needed in this situation. But I don't really think that Tristana lines up with what the rest of the comp is looking to do. I guess actually this comp is very multifaceted from Red. Actually, looking at it,
That's a generous way to put it.
Look at actually, and I'll tell you for why. Because I actually think I'm giving it less credit than it deserves. Early mid-game, you go Ziggs Nidalee, right? And you're Ziggs Nidalee, you're poking everybody, you're hitting people from a million miles away. But then, let's say, worst-case scenario, oh no, our poke have been engaged on. I have Tristana with Nidalee attack speed being ramped up. And I actually have a pretty decent team fight with a Cassante in front of me.
And Nautilus, yeah.
It's possible that this ends up being a good poke comp that can also transition into a very good team fighting composition with a decent frontline supporting them. I'm not entirely against this for red. I don't mind this draft. I've converted.
You've talked yourself into it, and you might have talked me into it as well. I think just the Nidalee just set off some alarm bells that I'm having trouble kind of unplugging and silencing here. But yeah, I think I just again like we're about maybe the crowd control aspect, right? The setup for the Nidalee. I mean, I feel like with like you said, that early poke that those two champions can provide, the Ziggs and the Nidalee,
You do. That's the nature of your poking composition, is that we would like you to be pretty much everywhere, pretty much always, and making sure that all of those objectives are being picked up for you. And we'll see if they can make that a reality here. Game number 4 between Red and Furrier. If Red take this, they are in the finals off the back of a Nidalee Ziggs Tristana game. I mean, as well as objectives, this is the tower-taking duo of old, if we recall correctly. Tristana plus Ziggs, they take those turrets incredibly
This is true.
quickly.
This is very true. Yeah, that actually, I didn't really think about that. I know you're absolutely right. And that's such a key part of it, especially in pro play, how these champions get their spot in their time in the sun, if you will. And so, you know, I worry about the early game, but look, you've got a good engine in the Nidalee, and that's I think another reason why I was worried about it was like, look, you know, it's not that you like when you pick scaling, you have to pick full scaling. In fact, I think that could be a very bad idea, especially in the jungle, where you want something with a little bit of agency. You want something to bridge you over so that you're not just up the creek without a paddle, kind of 10 minutes in, especially into something like a Lucian, right? And a Renekton, where it can just skirmish so well. But if you can get into that late game, after 1-1 fight, man, you could just rip right through the map with these two champions.
We'll see who it is that can come out on top and whether or not Red can indeed start to rip through those turrets. Nice little hook early on. I do not mind the Nautilus Ziggs duo. Much prefer Leona when pairing up with Ziggs. I think it's a very good champion that can keep people locked up. There's a world where a Nautilus hook catches somebody under a bomb and then causes a little bit of an issue there.
Yeah.
But overall, a lot of lockdown, and if that follow-up CC can be found, then that is really good. Obviously, Milio has his own cleanse on the ulti, so maybe later on we'll see that have some pretty good effectiveness as well. In terms of who's going to sit up and then tank those spears, obviously going to have to be Tartu in this game. So maybe get to see a bit of a Warmogs on the Sejuani, former flavor of the month. We'll see whether or not it can come home to roost once again. Tank that poke, get your HP to regen a little bit, and then go back into the front lines if you are in a big poke type situation.
I worry about poke compositions, man. I mean, especially when it feels like there hasn't been kind of, we're just going to like scrap and fight over every objective, right? Teams feel very reticent to do that. And look, I get it, right? You don't want to give over kills for nothing. If you don't have the vision set up, you can't, just walk in and say, well, the caster said I had to contest it, so here I am. Like, I get that it's not that simple, but I guess then maybe that's kind of where I'm talking myself into, is that the vision setup to be able to, if not contest and take something off the back, right? Take something off the other side, is going to be crucial here in the early levels.
That it is. And Curse already getting the crab down. Tartu doing the same thing. They're going to walk in and trade vision on one another's raptors. And from there, take those recalls. Now, very early on, you're seeing a very small lead in the top side for Gigo. A product of picking this Renekton lane is that you are expecting to have some sort of priority out of that, which probably means that Furrier are going to get those initial Void Grubs, which overall very good hook lands.
I cannot believe that hook landed. That is threaded that needle just so well. The healing coming out, and the shielding as well, going to keep IU safe. Summoner heal and barrier popped as well. No summoners, meanwhile, for the red bottom lane.
And that's a really, really big boon for them. The fact that they're already controlling the way that this lane is going, pushing away the aggression of Lucian Milio in the bot lane. Not what you're expecting, right? You take this bot lane to win, to stomp, to snowball, and that is just not the case right now. One final bomb catches a good couple creeps for Rebello. And overall, it's a really good start for the bot side of the Canids. Again, if they can find a good position to sort of snowball this game, then that's what we're looking for here.
Is your V mix stuck?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay, just making sure that wasn't
is the
just
stream
me.
still live?
All right, there we go. I think we're back, I believe.
Amazing.
All right.
Our fears have been assuaged.
That they have. Split crabs up on the top side and the bottom side, just as I say that, they do despawn. Frosty with the flash hook. Gets a flash out of Tuts. You'll take that 10 times out of 10. But again, it's what can you do on the back of it. Kaze, having a good time in this one early on. As far as the laning is concerned, Tristan, a pretty strong laner.
Yeah, and then also like an incredible marksman late game.
Yep.
I was watching one of those shorts with one of the Riot developers. I forget their name and I apologize for that, but they were saying basically that if they made Tristana with Tristana's numbers right now, they would be crucified because this champion has the best laning phase of any champion in the game, and then also is the most insane marksman with scaling range into level 18. So
yeah, and just rips through turrets, by the way.
Yeah, also does that. So, has a good amount of scaling and definitely a good top and bottom end of the game. But FMB, before he dings 6, looking to get dove.
Gigo popped the Dominus. That has worn off. Spear not going to find its mark. Or maybe a clip Gigo. Not 100% sure about that. But Tuts roaming up. Kaze following him. Should be nothing doing here. Ayu trading back onto Rebello as Frosty hits a hook onto Jojo. Ayu just trading just a ton of damage. Right back with Rebello dropping the Hextech Minefield. Thin the wave and get Ayu off his support's back.
Good little trade again. Any hook looks good at the minute down on
Yeah.
the spot side, whereas the Lucian Milio not really got the damage to run their way through the bot lane. Not really got their damage to, punish the Ziggs here as is Rebello playing that little bit more safely. Obviously, Frosty more than able to keep himself out of danger. Worth mentioning as well, so far we've seen 2 spears from Curse. We are 0-4-2 on those spears at the minute, which obviously pretty bad trend as a Super Mega Fire Kick does land onto the Nautilus on his way out. But a nice satchel disengages Ayu. And again, it just feels like the spot lane is red, neutralizing Illusion Milio, -1, as they're doing a pretty good job at making sure that this bot lane, which is typically built to stomp, is doing anything but that.
Yeah, and you'll get you'll get good marks for that, right? For slowing down that lane, as the anti-heal has already come through for FNB, rushing that Bramble Vest. Fair enough, into the Renekton and the Milio eventually. It has to be said, but yeah, nothing doing really too much here in the top lane as the objective's starting to come up here. And again, we talked about those contests and can you use the poke to your advantage with the Nidalee, with the Ziggs. And then Kaze damage over the top, right? The team fight is really good, to be fair, in the late game, right? But in the late game, a Nidalee is also a Nidalee, so you got to make sure that snowball gets rolling early. Jojo throws down the cozy campfire, gets a little bit of extra oomph on the shots from Tuts. A lot of pings coming down here. Red, get the pushback very briefly here as Jojo leaves Ayu pinned under his tower. TP's up here for Gigo and FNB should they want to join the party. But still, nobody willing to pull the trigger here, Roodood.
Yeah, I think bot side, the control for Rebello is concerning Tatu a little bit. It doesn't feel confident to take that neutral objective. On the flip side, Tuts just slightly getting the better end of Kaze there does make it so it's a little bit difficult for them to start this dragon as he's constantly having his mid laner B pushed in. That alternator doing a lot of work where the Tristana has that cull, is looking to wait, to sit, to scale, but now it's Red that have started the dragon. It's Tatu who's booking it through mid lane to get here in time, and it may well just be that this falls, but the fight afterwards looks worse.
Death charge goes out, between worlds popped, stuck there is Frosty, he will go down. First blood over to Tatu on the Sejuani. Glacial Prison to help lock that up. Mega Fire Kick goes out, Jojo flashing in to help lock up the rest of the kills. Mega Inferno Bomb goes out and does absolutely nothing. A dragon for 2 kills, not an ideal trade.
I don't mind this here for Red. The fact that they find that dragon does give them a leg up in that neutral objective's foothold, but obviously they're going to need to find more and more of those, and they're going to need to work their way through these Drakes later on, and that's going to become more difficult when they find themselves this far behind. Gigo, though, now on a flank. Frosty actually missing that hook might mean he's not able to help out his mid laner here, as he's going to try and hit this turret.
Like I said, that might be the end of the fight for Frosty, but unless they try collapse here onto Kaze, he might get summoned. I thought Gigo was just going to walk away. What the? Okay, and there's the... Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Amazing. Gigo's a top laner, guys, not a jungler. Let's remember that. That's what we've got to look at here in this situation, as FMB's able to take the time to find a quick plate, able to work his way through a full wave on that top side. Might have to TP his way back in, but not going to be the end of the world, as Tatu finds himself a full Heartsteel already. So he's very, very strong, where on the flip side, Curse hasn't quite yet finished off that first item. He's going to be looking to try and get through the HP of a Sejuani, but definitely going to struggle.
Yes. Yeah, that's another thing, right? I mean, until Kaze gets online, it's tough to chew through the tanks reliably. I mean, Rebello eventually, Ziggs can do a lot of damage, obviously, but you still got to hit all your stuff. You got to make sure that they're walking through the explosive minefield. You probably got to hit the ultimate and get the burn going if you get a Leandries or a Blackfire or something. Kaze, you need a little bit of damage here, but turret plating popped a little bit for Furia.
He just gets a top off from his jungler who passes by. Oh, here you go, buddy. Have an extra, good chunk of HP. Kaze as well, going for Kraken Slayer. Kraken, I think, and this is going to be my take of it on AD carries. I'd be interested to hear what other marksmen do think. Is just the I'm a brokey, didn't get a Yuntal buy, didn't get a BF sword buy through the early stages. As FMB has gone all out here, he's landing some slows.
And lands the Q3 there. Now Gigo in a little bit of trouble here. Does not have the Dominus. And just with every auto, again, just a healing reduction coming through. So even if you pop the Dominus, you're not getting a ton of value out of it. Potentially the rest of Red Kittens here looking for a dive. Not the best wave to do it on, but you got a cannon wave coming through next. If you can crash that, maybe you got a shot. Gigo has absolutely no idea, but gets the flash and the slice and dice out. But it'll be enough, the depth charge, to lock him up and set up the hook. Kill over to FNB. First one of the game for Red.
Yeah, a little bit of gold now goes into Ayu's pockets on that bot side as he's able to get some plates uncontested. Obviously, Rebello going to do the exact same thing up here. And again, this is where Ziggs really is going to outclass your marksman. Gets a short fuse proc every time he resets his cooldowns. And then he's going to be able to chunk through that little bit more of the turret here. One more Q. Gets that reset off. That's 3 plates picked up for the red marksman. 3 plates picked up for Furia as well, but they've got 3 people down on that bot side trying to make it work. It's just Rebello up here trying to get his way through this turret.
We'll take that down eventually. Meanwhile, it's FNB versus 3. Has to flash away. The Culling's going to tickle him on the back end. Glacial Prison going down on the back end as well. Permafrost stacks go up to help set that up. Ayu going to toggle the aggro off of him. Just looking for a way in here. There's the CC. Can Ayu go in? Yes, he can. Frosty can't do much to take the Ayu down as well. Just kind of looking for safety under the tower. And after all that, Rebello does not take the tower down. He gets close, but Gigo back. And Furia get a kill back onto FNB.
Yeah, really big actually that they find that kill. FMB stepping a little bit too close, maybe thinking he's a bit too tanky. In the face of Ayu here, where he just simply was not able to find enough damage mitigation there with the Cassante. Does end up falling. Nice little pick for Furia, who again continue to extend that gold lead, but just little bits of scarceness almost. Like I feel a little bit worried looking at the Tristana 300 gold up. I feel concerned when I look at the fact that this Ziggs has already got Ludens plus tier 2 boots picked up. So lots of things that Red Canid can play towards later on. Obviously, they've got a lot to get through in terms of this Renekton, who's got a decent lead. Ayu now to, a decent way up as well. That Kraken Slayer and Sheen combo going to work wonders for you. Just take another look at what happened down on this bot side. Good combo by Tartu. You go for the E stun first, then the ulti after the fact. And Ayu forced to flash away. I think he was out regardless, but it means that FMB can't get back in. And then just the Sejuani tanks the turret. Ayu finds the damage.
Yeah, pretty well played. Got a little dicey there at the end, as you saw, but like you said, Prosatatu holding on to the big ticket stun. There's a dragon pulled here for Red Canids. Still only an 800 gold lead, so they're not out of it, but it certainly feels like it feels like they are starting to let things slip a little bit. Tatu goes over the wall, gets the stun off, but the dragon taken by Curzon. He gets the heck out of dodge, gets the heal back. The CC isn't enough just yet, but if Tatu can get more permafrost stacks onto him, maybe, but it will not be enough. Gets the campfire down to keep him up. Rebello just throwing out some damage. You got to be careful a little bit here. The Red, they got themselves 2 dragons here, Roodood. So I mean, they are building towards something.
Yeah, and that's great, honestly. Like they're again going to be, and if it's an Ocean Soul as well, the fact that they get to deny that is going to be really important, right? This is a poke composition. They want to be able to sit and stand on those structures, stand at those turrets to spend a lot of time there. Equally, if they're playing poke and they lose an Ocean Soul, all of that poke starts to slowly mean less and less as the Ocean Soul is beginning to heal people back on up. So those 2 dragons early on. Incredibly important now that they find the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rather for Red Canids.
The role quests are done. First tower of the game will go over to Furia. So with every punch, there is a counter punch that the Panthers are getting. Now not look very much in this one. Waiting for the VMix bug to go away. Not bug, not like a issue, but the little thing on the bottom. I can't see. I use stats. But
Nothing is the bane of my existence. I'm
102.
sure there's a way
There
I
we
can
go.
manage that. I don't know how to do it. I am not talented enough.
Yeah.
Ravella's going to walk up here, satchel out this turret, make sure that falls with a pretty quick response. And I mean, looking around to the map, you can just walk mid and W that as well. So when that comes up off cooldown, you don't even have to walk out of Fog of War to do it. Try and find yourself in that mid brush, and it should be quite easy to take that turret for yourself as well. And if I'm Rebella right now, like the dopamine that you get from just walking up and pressing W on that turret is far too it's within threshold. Please, walk up and surprise everyone. There's your turret. Hold on, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Surely. No. Oh well, that's very sad.
Yeah, and I think you can see that everybody wanted him to get it, but obviously not going to overforce that. But to start trying to break open this map, that mid lane tier 1 obviously so crucial. Dragon up in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Herald started up, but abandoned pretty quickly here by the side of Furia. We'll see who is able to grab that one. Kaze, I mean, look, you talk about like the laning that this champion can do, the wave clear on top of that, right? Sending an explosive charge in, getting some AoE damage. Obviously, the tower taking ability, curse, trying to get on the board here. 0-0-0 for the Red Canids jungler. Not what you want to see from the Nidalee, but 2 dragons secured, and he had at least something to do with that. So, not like he hasn't done his job. He's hit a couple spears. It's been all right for him. But I still worry in the late game, will the Ziggs and Tristana be enough to kind of outweigh the fact that this Nidalee is just going to fall off a cliff?
Depends how much positioning Kaze's got here as they're going bot lane.
Does land the explosive charge onto the head of Gigo. Curse trying to get over the wall in a hurry.
Still
vision down. Yep. If nothing else, you've warded Gigo off. Oh, there you go. Right.
Flash?
Maybe.
Okay,
does he have enough? There's no way. Almost took Gigo out. Maybe that would have been enough, but maybe not. Kaze will take this tower down. Bunk. After just a couple more autos, Herald taken, I should say, on the top side. Meanwhile, Kaze getting some done on the bottom side. Yeah, pretty evenly matched this game, Roodood. Not a lot of action. I would say typical of a game 4. Game 5 is, funnily enough, where you see the slaughters one way or another.
Yeah.
But yeah, game 4, I think Red trying to stall the momentum of Furia as they took game 3 pretty handily. Games 1 and 2, not like one-sided affairs, but Red pretty handily winning those as well.
I mean, let's not forget game 2 where Furia were like 5k gold to the good, and we were saying the FNB situation.
True.
He was on an island out there, but unfortunately, Tatu Jace didn't quite have the showing that it needed to. It was good. It was ahead for a long time, but it didn't carry, and ultimately it did end up costing them the game there. Game number 3 though, put on Toscana. Game number 4 put on the Sejuani. Feels like that's a recipe for success here for Furia. Oh, finally, there we go. You could have done that so long ago and got yourself this extra gold before you based, but it is what it is. Tatu now hoping to try and clear out some of these wards, but with Frosty and Curse sniffing around nearby, not going to be possible.
Yeah, certainly tougher, if nothing else. If well and truly hit the mid-game lull. Everyone trying to get onto that last spike, fight for that next dragon. Start the Ocean the Ocean Dragon stacking, I should say. You kind of brought it up, Roodood. Furia, if they can get those dragons rolling, I mean, into this poke composition, it's just going to really, really nullify and make it so much more difficult to play out. Furia look like they've got the inside track here. TP comes in. Cullen going to soften up the front line by a little, and I do mean a little. More or less did nothing. Kaze TPing in. He's going to shove that wave down. Dragon started up here by Furia.
Gigo on a flank here, going to get jumped on immediately, has to hop over the wall, which does give an opportunity now for Furia to just take the Drake.
Yep, so they grab that one, first one of the game before them. Do they want to pull the trigger and go back in? If anything, it feels like Red has the onus here for it, just kind of managing, making sure they don't dump in anything stupid. See if they can get something on the outset. Frosty going to get caught between the two worlds, and Tut's going to go in for the kill on the back end. FNB going all out, trying to get something on the back end on his side, but Kaze and Curse will just pop right out of the pit. FNB might be worse for it here, though. Should be able to get out. Yeah, know,
I
miss.
think they want more still here, Red. Rebello's low on mana. Curse has been honestly pretty, not necessarily hit or miss, rather just miss with these spears as
Man,
Kaze has to flash to get out as well.
the fact that Kaze lived that, man, I thought he was dead to rights.
He'd have got a reset if Tartu stuck around for an extra auto, and he's currently sat on a pink ward, which he finally realizes and stops anything from happening. But this is again very even overall. I think Red mainly just be kicking themselves that they didn't put more of an onus on taking that dragon down. Gigo sacrifices his life so that the team can take down that neutral objective. Took the eye of Furia for a long while, and that was, or the eye of Red rather, for a long while, and that's a pretty big thing. As you can see, Curse just hopping around on Nidalee, not actually doing anything. Second spear goes wide. Hops into the pit a little bit later on to try and make something happen. Third spear wide. Kaze instead does a lot of work. Fourth spear from Curse. Oh, look at that one. We've caught another whole lot of nothing. Go for a fifth. Oh, and the whole time the rest of this fight's happening, I feel bad for ragging on him, but you're playing Nidalee. You kind of need these to land. By the time you hit one, the fight's over. So
yeah, and you sent it into the back of a Sejuani. So congrats.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt once again. Curse has given up. He knows he's not hitting these spears. That's an Echoes of Hellier. He's playing support Nidalee from now on.
It is support Nidalee time.
It is.
Oh no, you hate to see it. Oh well. I mean, look, it happens to the best of us, I suppose. Look, self-awareness, I think, is the most underrated trait in any human being. So, good on him, I suppose. And if you're not going to stack up those Ocean Dragons,
like if you want to play an Echoes of Hellier champion, let's just pick Soraka and let our jungler play a jungler instead.
Yeah, no, look, yeah, I maintain that Nidalee was a question mark pick, ping pick, but like still only 1,000 gold lead if that for Furia. Still, I think Red still do outscale in the late game. You got Tristana Ziggs. You're going to rip through turrets. You can get a good fight. You've got Frosty and FNB frontlining, but man, oh man, I mean, it still makes me so nervous.
Yeah, and I mean, I was going to say, well, why don't you just pick Ivern if you're going to do this? Well, actually, banned Ivern for this.
Exactly.
So, the Red went, well, what's budget Ivern? Clearly, the answer is Nidalee.
Of course, yeah. They've got interactions with brushes and can build. No, Ivern doesn't really build Echoes of Hellier. No, never mind.
Kaze. Oh, good buffer.
Yeah, you have to buffer the rocket jump out of there.
Dead.
Stand on the ward and just cannon barrages, or not cannon barrages, buster shots him out of trouble. But yeah, gets eaten alive. Furia gonna grab himself another kill. Another one onto IU, who's quietly having himself a really solid game. 2.5 item series on that last Whisper. And once he gets that going, then it could be the signal for Furia to start breaking down the door.
Well, I think that signal's been blaring for the last couple of minutes. I'm going to be honest.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. Again, you're looking for your Nidalee to be able to do a little bit more on this red side. Hasn't quite had the impact that it needed, and yet 4x4, I still very easily foresee a game where pressing E on my marksman will be enough as this Nidalee champion to come out on top. Rebello's still quite strong on this Ziggs, despite the fact that he is down in gold. Obviously, mage items, you don't have that. You don't have that many sort of 12 or 2,600 gold, like a Zeal item, for example, that you can sort of dip into to get a cheaper item. You are largely gated by 3,000 plus gold items, which can put you a little bit behind the curve. As it happens at the minute, he's ahead in experience, but down in gold. So not feeling too worse for where as he goes back to base, picks up that NLR, which at this point, Zhonya's or Death Capper is probably two options.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be Death Cap. Maybe should be Death Cap. I feel like you should have enough peel. I don't know. The Zhonya's feels a little... Like you need that overwhelming magic damage, especially because your Nidalee has famously built Echoes of Hellier. So...
genuinely true.
I think you just got to send
is correct. Yeah. This will be remembered and talked about in the archives.
Oh god, yeah. If they win, they're going to take that exhibit down right after it goes up. But man, if they lose, and if they lose the series off it as well, Tatu just going in point blank ultimate, Frosty getting ripped through. Not long for this world, but Echoes of Hellier. How about that? With the Nidalee heal on top of that, Frosty's back up to half HP.
That's what you get. Let's see some spears landing. Let's rack up some HP to be stored. Tut's now looking for Frosty. Oh, another big juicer heal here. It's the spear, and you get another really large heal coming through. So, there you go. Kaze's next. If he hits the spears, it does work. No way!
If you hit the spears, you have no need to build a heal item. Just build more damage and hit the spears that way.
All right, Drake's live. It's Furia trying to stop Soul Point going to the Canids here. Poke needs to start landing, though, as Karze's hopped onto Tuts, but not going to be able to find anything. 5k HP before the Dragon resets, and Furia eyes on the prize as Ayu now stepping forward, dashes back.
FNB looking for a way in, front line, and Gigo's on a flank. I think they know he's there, but either way, he's going to walk over a ping. Should he go over unless he just slices and dices over the wall? Tuts trying to get back in. The hook almost lands there onto Ayu, but he's got the Cody's Campfire to keep him up. Tuts goes invisible, pops in between two worlds, gets into the back line immediately, bounces right back, and now he's caught himself between a rock and a hard place. Dragon is taken there by Furia. Tatu able to swipe that up. Damage not a ton here from the Mega Inferno Bomb. Need more consistent damage if they're going to do anything about this. Gigo got isolated, and he will go down. Probably not going to take anyone with him. FNB going all out and doing Cassante things on the other side. Just a one-man wrecking crew. Kaze is getting on the board in a big, big way. Stunned up. FNB going to buy some time. Curse is out of there with the Echoes of Helia. It doesn't matter. He's right back with the healing. Tatu going to get another kill, but Kaze has jumped in, and that should be the death sentence. Red Canids will rip through the rest of this fight. It's a double for Tatu, but there's only so much as Sejuani can do with Emilio waiting on the back end. Curse with the kill, because of course he gets the kill.
6 stacks on his Dark Seal, and he is ramping up into this game on the Nidalee now. Karze goes nuclear in the team fight, constantly keeps himself safe, and he's going to need to build an Essence Reaver pretty soon because he is hopping around like a madman. That Navori Flickerblade is doing a lot of work, but he's losing his mana incredibly quickly. They don't quite lose out on that tier 2 turret down on the bot side for you, and they do net themselves the Dragon, but the fight was a complete wash here. Finally, we got to see a little bit of Poke landing. Tuts had an ultimate Aurora moment here where he thinks, okay, I've got to hop out of danger, and instead puts himself right back into it as his in-between world sends him into the face of 4 people. If he'd have stayed there a little bit longer and maybe tried to do a little bit more damage or just not thrown himself into that, maybe this fight looks entirely different. I
agree.
But FNB here, you called it out perfectly during the fight. He just raid bosses forward, right? He flashes over this wall and just decides, I'm going to go in. Team, you can follow me if you like. I pray, hope that you do. And that's exactly what happens. How does he actually die here? Does he just walk forward? Yeah, okay, he gets caught by Sedge W. And after the fact, surprised that Karze doesn't go for Jojo as well, but I feel like he knows that if I jump out of that situation, my team are going to get absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah, so played it all right here, and now the ball is in Red's court. They're up 1,000 gold. They surrendered 2 dragons. Okay, but hey, you ate your vegetables in the early game. Curse was an actual jungler in the early game. That's unfair. He's been having a good game, all things considered. Well, has he? I don't know, but they're winning. So, and he got the 2 early objectives, so like he can't be too hard on the guy.
TP from Tuts.
But now Red look like they're going to get collapsed on here. Rebello able to get over the wall there.
Oh my god, how did he find that?
Holy moly. Gigo taking so much damage. Cozy Campfire goes out, calling on the back end. FNB going to go forward again. He's still got the all out. He can do another Cassante moment here. Frosty laying down more crowd control with the hook. The bombs are landing, and Curse is healing everybody, and the spear lands! The Curse redemption arc is so unconventional, is deeply unserious, but here it is, and Red are going to get a Baron off it.
And this is what you need from your Nidalee. These downtown spears start landing, and you're going to do the damage. Karze with 3 completed items. He's got the attack speed from the Nidalee in his back pocket, and there's raining down poke from Rebello, poke from the Nidalee. And you can see the power of this composition coming to fruition, just as we theorized in the draft 4x4.
Yeah, exactly
the 2 parts of this composition work in tandem with one another.
Oh man, it's so funny. But hey, look, unserious
is the perfect word. You are right,
man. And look, doing just as much damage as Kaze, but dude, Rebello, the fact that he didn't get caught in that between 2 worlds, right? Put the satchel charge under himself to bounce himself over the wall. If he doesn't do that, I think Furia could win this fight right there. Exactly. If he gets caught right there, he might be toasted because he just starts printing damage on the back end of this fight.
He does, and let's look at Curse as well. 1 spear lands, another one over the wall lands, walks in, Q pounce. Thank you very much. End this fight. Another spear lands. Gorgeous Curse. That's what we like to see.
They can't believe it.
Yeah. They were like, why have we picked this guy Nidalee? And then in the latter half of the team fights, he was calibrating.
Yeah, he's calibrating. Yeah.
Well, this is whoa,
okay.
From Narnia. We're probably not going to see it.
Yeah, I mean, there is a ward. There is a control ward back there, so they do see him now. But now you got a little bit of a decision to make. You've got Inhibitor versus the 5v4 versus the 5v1 versus just send FNB to deal with him. That's probably fine.
Cannon minions, though, again, a really big deal in this season. They do a lot of damage to those structures if they are left unchecked. And Gigo now going to be able to route himself back towards his team. Red do get their way out of here. And you manage to make their way out to safety.
Maybe that recall was going to bite FNB in the behind, leaving his team out to dry there. I thought for him maybe we could have collapsed, but ended up working out all right. Kaze, man, and he's gotten online here in this game. And the wealth pretty much spread all over the place with these 8 kills. I mean, yeah, 2 for FNB, 3 for Curse, 2 for Kaze, 1 for Rebello, and Frosty quietly having a really good game on the Nautilus as well, just understated, hitting his hooks, hitting his depth charges, being a nuisance, providing CC, auto-attacking people and putting them in place. Gigo trying to do something helpful on the top side, but in the time it takes him to take half a tower down, his team are getting eaten alive. Tatu takes a ton of damage. Half his health bar is completely gone. With only the depth charge expended here, Red still have more tools in the toolbox, looking for a potential game winner here. Trying to take the towers down, if nothing else. A lot of damage coming down here from Tuts. Tatu pops the Glacial Prison. No follow-up there, unfortunately. In with the Arctic Assault. In the back end, the Super Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't find anything, but the tower goes down.
One turret down. Obviously, they respawn, so if Red don't end here, likelihood is that it's going to come through. If they can clear that bot wave, Super Minions plus Byron going to be able to do a large amount of work as well. Remember, Defender's advantage. Furia, they get to go back to base. They get to heal up. Red, they're here on Nidalee healing alone.
Oh, man, Gigo just gets demolished. Made a purse out of the croc, and this looks like it's going to be the rest of it. FNB is absolutely monstrous, but Kaze is free firing, and that, at the end of the day, is what matters. It keeps yourself alive with a rocket jump into the back, and 3-1 is the final. Red take it. They are moving on to take on Loud in the finals.
Yeah, and tomorrow's matchup, again, it's a tale for the ages. Red versus Loud in the top end game. The big series that will end it all here for the CBLOL Cup has been decided. And again, like I say, Red, they're going to remember this probably for the rest of their careers. Do you remember when we took Nidalee and I had an absolute nightmare of a start and then a bit because of Helia and then I was the GOAT? Like, do you remember when that happened?
They're going to be like, yeah, Lamau, that was crazy. Because they can just laugh about it now. Because they won.
Yeah.
Kind of handily. It's not a, again, correlation causation. It's a funny thing. After he built the Echoes of Helia, he turned into Canyon. He was hitting everything. He was awesome.
He really, really was. I mean, one of the small things that I want to point out there as well, Trajan and I have had a long-standing acknowledgement of Frosty's mood post-series.
Okay.
Post-games.
I like the subplot.
Because after a weekend, where they lost that game, that they should have definitely won, he was furious.
Big sad. Yeah. He was not in a good mood.
The vibes after that series, he got up, he's jumping around, he's having a good time.
Oh, it's funny.
And he's in a very good position, right? He's feeling good. Hopefully, he'll have a nice little evening before tomorrow, where they've obviously got this massive series that they've got to now rest and recuperate for.
Yep, and get some sleep, get themselves locked and loaded for a Loud series that, again, I maintain, Red are the better team. They shot themselves in the foot with some drafts. But Loud, look, you don't run the upper bracket by accident. That is what I will give Loud. You could argue they had a bit of an easy road. Cade combusting, Los not a real first seed, and then Red, but Red with some bad drafts, right? So you could, if you want to be disingenuous, and I guess I kind of want to be disingenuous. You could throw an asterisk across all 3 of those wins for Red, but now for Loud. But now Red have a chance to right some wrongs here tomorrow, and you and Trajan are going to be on that call, right?
Yeah, that's right. Trajan and I are from same time, same place. We start as we did just today, so
yeah, same thing.
Hopefully, all good things will come to us. We've got the Brit squad on in terms of making the cast happen, and maybe some Europeans on the production side of things as well. Shout out to Rose, by the way, who behind the scenes today has been working wonderfully, adding their insight quite nicely into the games as well. Even threatened to come on the call and cast when me and 4x4 were having difficulties with various arrangements.
Yes, and I think that's
the less said about that, the better.
That's as good a place as any to end it. So that's gonna do it for me for the split. We'll probably have our wrap up tier listy big podcast at sometime in the next couple weeks. I don't know if we'll do one finals preview and then a tier list. But either way, you can look out for that on the YouTube channel and the Twitch as well, or the YouTube channel and the Spotify. Twitch, we're going to find it same time, same place. Again, it'll be Roodood and Trajan tomorrow to take you through the finals. Big shout out to Rose. Thank you to them for producing. And for Roodood, I've been 4x4. That's all for us. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Should be a slapper of a final. We'll see you there.